And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
If you're serious about change, just know you're gonna go through some uncomfortable situations. Stop trying to dodge the process, because in the long run, it's gonna make you better. And don't forget that shit, you heard?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Common Censored. I shaved the neck beard for for the haters. Now, that guy was pretty cool. Microwave guy cruising around on a moped. He knows what's up. You better listen to the crazy guy with a microwave on his head, because he's right about everything, it seems. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show, all of you censored commoners. Hope you had a great weekend. Better than Russia, who is repeatedly attacked and bombed, and they're blaming us, naturally, threatening retaliation. We have interesting news coming out from Kash Patel from a UK court relating to Paul Ryan as well, sabotaging the RUSSIAGATE probe investigation from the inside before it even started. We'll get into that in a little bit as well. Thanks, everybody, again for being here. Make sure to join us Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Time as we break down all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos that's going on here and around the world. Make sure to use hashtag CommonCensored when you share the show on X, where you can find us at _CommonCensored. Thanks to all of our new Rumble followers as well. We gained a whole bunch over the weekend. I'll list them off periodically throughout the show. Thanks, Sheepdog. Good to see you, brother. Hope you had a good weekend, man. Shout out to everybody that's over in chat. Sheepdog, Bayou Gator, Unique Prepping, who I went to a fun wedding over the weekend. Glad to hear that went well, brother. Mama Mac, Crazy B, good to see you guys. Links to all of the content we discussed today will be down in the description after the show. So if you guys are watching this later on and need to focus your attention with maximum efficiency, click that description button. Check out the various topics we cover. Mama Mac will be adding timestamps throughout the show, so you can find the things that interest you and jump right to the point in the video when we cover them. Make sure to check out alplama.com to support Mama Mac and FAM, your new herbal health guru with a tincture for every ailment you may be suffering from. Natural remedies so you can avoid the petro-pharmaceutical industrial complex that wants to make you sick and dependent on their medicines, allegedly, of course. And if you want to support the broadcast directly, you can head on over to our link tree at Common Censored, where we have merch, our gag book, first edition revived of Thomas Paine's Common Sense also, which is a fun one. You can also donate or tip via Subscribestar, Locals, Cash App, Venmo, Google Pay. Anybody that subscribes via Subscribestar and Locals will automatically be entered into our contest to win a copy of one of our books, Common Sense First Edition Revived, like I mentioned, and Common Censored, the redacted version. You'll also be entered if you tip via Cash App, Google Pay, Venmo, etc. And for Rumble Rants, we'll be reading Rumble Rants. If you Rumble Rant, want to get your voice heard, we will do that. But while we're talking about the contest, let's draw another name. It's week 2. Or now it's week 3, technically, but let's find out who the winner is for week 2. Gator wants to win the mini skirt. All right, let's see. Shuffling the names around here. Not looking. Picking one randomly. All right, I got one. Let's see who we got. And it's Mama Mac. Mama Mac wins. Thank you, Mama Mac, for being a steadfast supporter and helper on the show. And look at my nice crooked scissor job there that I did. Mama Mac, you'll have to let me know which book you want. Common Sense First Edition Revived or Common Censored. And no, it's not a rigged game. Everybody's got their name once in the hat. And Mama Mac just happens to be our lucky winner today. Congratulations, Mama Mac, and thank you for all of your help. It was good hanging out with you guys over the weekend. Mama Mac, no way, she says. Yes way, yes way. All right, so congratulations to you. Disclaimer: views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom! All right, let's hop into the news. And I don't know if I mentioned the number before, but it is indeed episode 181, if you guys can believe it. Let's see what's first on the list beside the microwave head guy. We've got the governor of Louisiana, who has just signed a bill authorizing surgical castration for child sex offenders. We discussed this as the bill was being passed through the legislature, but now the governor has indeed signed it into law. So if you are a pedophile in Louisiana, you better hope that you're Jewish so you can go hide out in Israel, because otherwise we're coming for you. We're coming for you legally and lawfully, and we're taking something that you love. So this is hilarious. Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana has signed into law a bill that would allow state judges to sentence those convicted of sex crimes against victims under the age of 13 to undergo surgical castration. You'd love to hear it. Senate Bill 371, sponsored by Senator Regina Ashford Barrow, is expected to take effect on August 1st, following the Republican governor's signature on June 18th. So pay attention now to see who's moving out of Louisiana real quick, and keep your eye on those fuckers. The law allows Louisiana judges to punish offenders aged 17 and older with surgical castration if they're convicted of aggravated sex crimes against a victim under the age of 13. The Department of Public Safety and Corrections will oversee the procedure, but it will not be performed if, quote, not medically appropriate, according to the bill. I don't know what that exactly means. Sounds kind of vague and nebulous, which unfortunately may render the whole law null and void under constitutional principles, but nonetheless, under the law, a court-appointed medical expert will need to determine whether the offender is, quote, an appropriate candidate for surgical castration within 60 days of the imposition of the sentence. Quote, in all cases involving an offender sentenced to a period of incarceration or confinement in institution, the procedure shall not be performed later than 1 week prior to the offender's release from the institution, the legislation reads. If an offender, quote, fails to appear, unquote, as required by court order for surgical castration, the offender may be charged and sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison without the, quote, benefit of probation, parole, or suspension of sentence. Or you could, I propose an amendment to the bill where if you don't show up for castration, it gets bumped up to decapitation. How about that? This is everybody's air, and we don't need to waste it on these. I don't know what I can say on YouTube, so you guys know what I'm saying. The bill garnered bipartisan support in the state legislature. During a committee hearing in April, Republican State Senator Valerie Hodges described the measure as, quote, a consequence for offenders guilty of committing sex crimes against children. It's a step over and beyond just going to jail and getting out, Ms. Hodges said, according to the Associated Press. The legislation proposed by Ms. Barrow expands on a previous act by authorizing a judge to order a physical castration to those convicted of a sex crime in which the victim was 13 or under. Quote, we are talking about babies who are being violated by somebody, the Democratic senator said at the committee meeting in April. That is inexcusable. Wow, we even got the Dems on our side for this one. But if you watch The Boys on Amazon Prime, ooh, it's all just a conspiracy theory. None of it's really happening. Man, maybe I'll play a clip from that show later where they have, they're just openly weaponizing the show against the right at this point with a convention that the characters attend called TruthCon, where they're just making fun of all the conspiracy theories that the right talks about and throwing in some ridiculous ones in there as well to discredit the whole thing. Classic poisoning the well technique of disinformation propagation. According to state law, voluntary castration for people convicted of rape dates back to 2008. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people volunteered for that. When the legislature passed legislation that sentenced a sex offender, quote, to be treated with medroxyprogesterone acetate, or MPA. However, in lieu of treatment with medroxyprogesterone acetate, MPA, the court may order the defendant to undergo physical castration, provided the defendant file a written motion with the court stating that he intelligently and knowingly gives his voluntary consent to physical castration as an alternative to the treatment the state acts. So that's good. We got some strong deterrents in place down in Louisiana now. Let's hop over to our next big story. This is the Loki Lowdown. A little bird came and told me about a story, and it just so happens to be involving Kash Patel, the one and only legend. Dude's awesome. We need him in Trump's next administration, dropping bombs and slicing whole departments out from the executive branch. British court reveals Paul Ryan was the first one to receive a copy of the Steele dossier back in 2016, and he hid it for years. Wasn't he Speaker of the House at the time? He got the information, knew about the whole thing, and then sabotaged the investigation from the inside. On Saturday, former Trump official Kash Patel joined Steve Bannon on the War Room to discuss his latest blockbuster report on Paul Ryan. According to Patel, Paul Ryan was the first to receive a copy of the bogus Steele dossier back in 2016, and Paul Ryan hid this from investigators, his Republican colleagues, and Trump officials. Kash posted this on Truth on Thursday, saying Paul Ryan, as Speaker of the House, had in his possession the Steele dossier before he had Devin Nunes and I, Kash, launch the RUSSIAGATE investigation and never told us. Think, before anyone knew anything about fake intel, he had his own copy. I found it on my own and then blew up the FBI/DOJ, metaphorically speaking, of course. Why didn't he tell his own damn team? Report that fake news. So let's hop over to the War Room and check out Kash's interview. Thanks, Mama Mac, for sending this to me as well over the weekend. Let's check it out, guys. Steve Bannon, we got to keep him out of jail. All right, here we go. Zooming in hand.
Thanks. Welcome back. I had to get Kash Patel up and break. Kash has been filming Complete Government Gangsters. I'm going to play the trailer here towards the end of the show. That film's coming out in the month of July. It's going to be a blockbuster.
He's talking about the film version of Kash Patel's book, Government Gangsters, which is in production right now, coming out this July. I'm super excited for that. It's going to be fucking awesome.
We're going to love it. This audience is going to absolutely love it. But Kash, you're driving. Now, I had to get you up. I've got 2 tweets about you about my beatdown of Paul Ryan the other day, about talking about character and, you know, Trump's lacks character. You brought 2 brutal tweets up about Paul Ryan's character related to the Steele dossier that has not gotten anywhere near the exposure it is. Tell me what you got, brother.
Hey, Steve, great to be with you. Thanks. Remember in 2016, let's rewind the tape, it was Russia collusion, Russia collusion, Russia collusion, and then Speaker Paul Ryan enlisted me and Devin Nunes to investigate the Russia collusion. Nobody knew what the Steele dossier was in 2016. They had already gone to the federal court and unlawfully surveilled Donald Trump with it. But what we didn't find out until after we completed our investigation in 2018 was that the Speaker, Paul Ryan, who charged us with investigating RUSSIAGATE, was the first guy to ever get a copy of the Steele dossier in 2016.
Unbelievable.
He never told us. He still never admitted it.
AKA, he's a deep state agent who's doing his own little thing behind the scenes, keeping all of you guys in the dark. Paul Ryan, scumbag extraordinaire.
Finally was admitted in a British court where Christopher Steele was being sued.
And the only reason we find out because it came out in British court. Unbelievable. Our government is filled with corrupt gangsters.
Just think about it, Steve. We could have asked, where did you get it? Who did you get it from? How was it paid for? All of these
Invaluable
secrets
information.
could have come out under this man's very investigation, but he rigged it from the beginning. So I'm done listening to lectures about the new conservative brand that is Paul Ryan, and anytime he wants to debate me, I'm all in. He charged us with an investigation that he rigged because he didn't want Donald Trump to succeed. He kneecapped him from the beginning. That guy's talking about not going to the RNC. No one wants him there. He's so arrogant, he doesn't understand the simple fact that we put out the truth.
Cash, and I'll have you back on next week when we get you on the Skype.
That's right, Gator.
Are you telling me and telling this audience in a British court filing that Steele filed under penalty of perjury, he identified that Paul Ryan actually had the Steele dossier before he charged you guys at House Intel to look into this, and he never informed Devin Nunes, the chairman of that? That's impossible to believe.
Is that let's see, collaborating with foreign enemies? I mean, I don't know if England or Russia, I guess, would be a foreign enemy, right? Isn't that treason? I don't know. Maybe there should be some charges.
Are you sure about this?
100% accurate. The Steele dossier was handed to Paul Ryan's chief of staff in 2016. They put out a mealy-mouthed retweet to it, response to it, which basically said, oh, we didn't get it from Christopher Steele directly. They admitted it in court that they had a copy the entire time, and they didn't tell us in 2016. They didn't tell us in 2017. They didn't tell us in 2018. The quintessential piece of evidence which was exposed because I went to DOJ and got the FISA, which the Steele dossier was entire part of, and Paul Ryan was the one that fought us tooth and nail. And remember on declassifying it. Now we know why. He had it for sure. He is a total coward.
This is a blockbuster. We're going to drill down on this.
He's a shipper.
I'm telling you, the rats and the serpents around President Trump are unbelievable. Cash, I need people to go to not just your website. I need to go to your Twitter feed today over the weekend. Drill down. I know you're going to be putting up a lot more information. Where do they go?
Truth Social. You know I'm not a part of the scam that is censorship. I'm only on Truth Social at Cash.
I'm going to see if we can start streaming on Truth as well.
KSH. We're going to put out the documents from the British court pleading itself. You don't got to take my word for it as a RUSSIAGATE lead investigator. Just go see it and read it for yourselves and show the community. Every time Paul Ryan's out there on Fox News and everywhere else talking about his righteous sanctimony, remember, this is the guy that cost Republicans the House majority. Maybe we would have hung on to it if Paul Ryan told us he had the Steele dossier from jump, who he got it to, how much he was paid for having it, and why he never told us the truth. Maybe we should be interrogating Paul Ryan under oath.
That's what I'm saying.
We are. Paul
saying.
Ryan, you're turning the barrels.
We
coming
for you, Paulie.
Thank you very much, Cash Patel. We'll dive down on this deeper Monday or Tuesday.
Boom. So we'll have to look for updates on that. Gateway Pundit reporting on it as well. Cash Patel exclusive. Speaker Paul Ryan and his team rigged our RUSSIAGATE investigation before he even started it. These are the faces of literal demons. I bet Paul Ryan smells like sulfur too. Just saying. You guys know all the details for that, so we don't need to rehash everything. We'll keep it going. But links will be in the description if you want more information, if you want to spread that video to your friends and family. Make sure everybody knows about that, because unacceptable, treason potentially. Let's hop over to Kim.com, who's been working with Alex to try to stop World War III over the weekend. Kim saying, remember your representatives waving Ukrainian flags in Congress when Russia retaliates for U.S. missile strikes that killed Russian kids on a beach in Crimea today, a day or two ago at this point. The 23rd, yesterday. Joe Biden is provoking nuclear war with Russia. Are you ready to die for this demented fool? You guys remember this? This is the absolute state that we're in, with U.S. reps waving Ukrainian and billions of dollars. Look at these people. It's a shame. Shame on you, Democrat scum. Shame. I need the shame nun from Game of Thrones to add to that. Let's hop over to Health Ranger talking about this as well, saying this is clearly a provocation designed to spark World War III. It's only by the discipline of Russia that we aren't already in a global thermonuclear war. That's what we've been saying. Putin, the only adult in the room who's trying to prevent this, and adding additional fail-safes and incremental escalation steps to prevent jumping straight into nuclear war. America's current, quote, in parentheses, imposter leaders are arguably the most dangerous threat to human civilization today. And he's Health Ranger, at Health Ranger. Mike Adams over here is also reposting Kim.com, at Kim.com, who's saying the U.S. Air Force directed the ATACMS missile strike against Russian civilians today. This is an act of war by the U.S. government against Russia. Did Joe Biden seek permission from Congress to start a direct war with Russia? Did Americans sign up for this? Well, unfortunately, in the Bush era, Congress, as we know, under the Constitution, Congress has to declare war. But what they did sneakily to avoid the responsibility and the blood on their own hands was illegally delegate that authority to the president. So the president can just do whatever they want. I don't know if that applies beyond Iraq and Afghanistan, if it's still active today, but they did that in like 2002 or 3, whenever we invaded Iraq. So let's take a look at this. U.S. drones directed ATACMS missile strike on dropping deadly cluster bombs on civilians in Sevastopol. The U.S. Air Force RQ-4B Global Hawk high-altitude reconnaissance drone provided the Ukrainian armed forces with GPS targeting information and coordinated today's ATACMS missile strike, which used cluster munitions on residential areas of Sevastopol, resulting in more than 100 casualties. Hey, Hans, are we the baddies? I mean, like, we're attacking fucking civilians on behalf of a country that's not even our ally. This is complete and total madness.
This is madness.
Thankfully, Putin has held back thus far and hasn't launched any attacks in retaliation, although he is threatening it. Kim.com further posts over here. Background: the Russian military is using GPS jamming to prevent drone and missile strikes from Ukrainian territory. That's why the U.S. Air Force Global Hawk provided targeting data and remote control for the ATACMS attack, an act of war by the U.S. against Russia. This is so messed up. So messed up. They can't have a 2024 election. So they're just going to get us into World War III so they can collapse the system, prevent an election from taking place, because nobody wants to have a wartime president be removed. Unless it's Joe Biden, it will backfire bigly, because nobody trusts Joe Biden for this type of thing. In addition to the beach attack, we have a large terror attack on a synagogue and Orthodox churches in Russia's Dagestan. Unknown terrorists went on a rampage using automatic weapons against religious sites in Dagestan, Russia, on Sunday night. Authorities in the southern Russian Republic situated in the Caucasus say that police officers were killed and wounded as the gunmen targeted a synagogue and an Orthodox church. What are the odds that the CIA is behind this one as well? At least 9 are dead and 25 are injured. An Orthodox priest was also slain. A fire also resulted at the synagogue, with emergency response crews subsequently battling the blaze. Some reports say that 2 Orthodox churches were hit in the assault and that a priest was killed. According to the Russia's state-run TASS, quote, at approximately 1800 hours Moscow time in Derbent, unknown persons fired at a synagogue and a church with automatic weapons. According to preliminary information, 1 police officer was killed and 1 was wounded. You may recall Alex Jones recently saying that this is exactly what he expects to happen here at home. Synagogues, black churches, federal buildings being targeted in false flag attacks. So it makes perfect sense that they would do the same thing over there for the same purposes, taking out synagogues, etc., and the Orthodox churches. Quote, the car in which the suspects fled was identified as a white Volkswagen Polo, license plate 921. The circumstances are being clarified. Information about the dead and wounded police officers is being clarified. And a Russian internal affairs ministry statement indicated, quote, in Makachkala. In Makachkala, unknown persons fired at a traffic police post on Ermoshkin Street. The interception plan was announced. The identities of the attackers are being established. Let's hop over to X. Check out this post about heavy gunfire reported at 2 locations in Russia's Dagestan region from the General MC News. Let's rewind, zoom and enhance with some volume and see what's going on here. Driving at cars or shooting at cars passing by. You see that? Insane. Totally insane. So the attacks are escalating. They're further dragging the U.S. into all this. This has CIA written all over it, in my opinion. It appears that at least some of the attackers may have gotten away, with RT reporting the following statement, quote, "The suspects drove away in a white Volkswagen Polo," police said, adding that they are currently searching for the vehicle. Below includes more details via state-backed RT. Quote, "The assailants in Durban reportedly broke into the Orthodox church and killed a local priest by slitting his throat," said Shamil Kaduleev, the head of the Regional Public Oversight Committee, which monitors the observance of human rights in prisons. Other regional authorities have not commented on this information. Synagogue was reportedly set on fire. Videos and photos have surfaced on social media purporting to show the building being engulfed in flames. Breaking Visegrad 24 on X. The priest who had his throat slit by the Islamist terrorists in the terror attack today in Dagestan, Russia, has been identified. Father Nikolai Kotelnikov was murdered in the Durban church in the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Extremely messed up. Quote, "Judging from some of the details to have emerged thus far, this appears to have been an Islamist terror attack, possibly ISIS or an affiliated group. And last time, the ISIS attack on the Crocus Club in Moscow ended up being related to CIA operating out of Ukraine with patsies. The situation, if I remember correctly, which I think I do, the situation included efforts to apprehend including efforts to apprehend the gunman may have occurred over a period of hours. Global Eye News also reporting breaking a terrorist attack on a Jewish synagogue and church in Russia's Dagestan. 5 police officers were killed. 9 more were injured. Let's hop over to X and take a look at these videos. So we have building just totally ablaze over here. Compiled with the clip we already saw. And then there's a second shot over here of just the burning building, which is a nightmare, man. It sucks that evil people like this exist. Donna, 1437. Good to see you, Donna. Thanks for being here. Hope you had a good weekend. Man, this is so messed up. So messed up. So we're going to definitely keep our eyes on this. Coordinated Islamist terror attacks in Dagestan, Russia. Bearded gunmen dressed in black have attacked a synagogue and a church. If there's any updates on this throughout the show, let me know in the chat so we can check it out. Tornadoes, Donna says. Oh, well, I was hanging out with Mama Mac over the weekend, and we almost got hit by a tornado, it seemed. Prolonged, thunder-like gusting of winds that shook the whole house amidst tornado watches in the area. We came like this close to getting swept up in a tornado, I think, Mama Mac. That was pretty wild. Rich knew. He's used to the sounds of the wind and everything at the house, and immediately he knew something was off. So we do have Russia warning the U.S. to brace for retaliation after the missile attack. The general reporting at General MC News with Hitler Putin looking stern. Yeah, look at Melchizedek over here with probably the right thoughts. Start World War III, hide and bunker, wait until plebs die, return and establish despotic reign. Well, information I heard recently said that the radiation would die to about 7% of its total potency after about 2 years. So with proper shielding, they potentially could emerge to the surface at that point and finish off the culling of humanity and rebuild from the ashes in the bones of all of us. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Fucking hell. Let's jump over back to Health Ranger with more information about this. At Health Ranger, Mike Adams reporting Russia is setting up its internal justification for striking U.S. targets. When the nukes start raining down on, quote, blue cities across the U.S., I wonder if all the Dems who participated in the theft of the 2020 election will realize their role in their own demise, if they're not vaporized before they can contemplate. Maybe. He's reposting General Douglas McGregor, who says, breaking, Russia blames U.S. for deadly missile attack on Crimea. Russia on Sunday said the U.S. had responsibility for a Ukrainian missile attack on Russian-annexed Crimea, which it said killed 5 people, including 3 children, and wounded over 100. Inside paper. He also recommends following True the Vote. Yeah. Wendy Patterson says, you and I know that's not the truth. NATO and Turkey did that to Crimea because Turkey is threatened by Russia's control of Crimea. Both of us know that too. Well, Wendy, didn't Turkey just say they were leaving NATO? Doesn't make sense to me that they would escalate in a NATO conflict right when they say they're leaving NATO. So I'm calling bullshit that interpretation. I'm more inclined to side with Kim.com and Alex Jones on this one. Salty Goat saying, at Salty Goat 17, saying the Biden regime is purposefully pushing us into war. Cato __1776 says this expanding war in Ukraine is unnecessary. We are responsible and we can/should end it immediately. If for no other reason, this is why Trump must be elected. Trump 24/MAGA forever. Patriotic Deplorable agreeing Biden is dragging the world into World War III. Obama, Biden, Clintons, the globalists do not care what happens to the world. They are truly dangerous. And even sadder, DDG43 over here points out this is our tax dollars hard at work, dropping cluster munitions on beachgoers, civilians in Sevastopol. This is morally wrong. The same evil will visit our shores if we do not speak up and denounce this barbaric bullshit. And I live basically right on the shore, so I hope he's wrong. I hope we can prevent it before my shore, that direction, is bombed as well. So basically, the people who claim that Trump would crash the economy and start World War III have crashed the economy and started World War III. Boom. Memes are such a great way to convey information. Yeah, this is the escalation we funded in the Ukraine aid bill. Remember, it was the one where Congress was so proud to wave their little Ukraine flags, bringing us back to the start, where they were showing, where we showed the congressmen waving the Ukraine flags. Let's hop over to Israel for our next topic. Netanyahu reportedly ready to wind down Giza operations to battle Hezbollah in the north. This is over at Zero Hedge, posted by Tyler Durden. I want you to hit me as hard as you can. Several Western officials have been warned that the Middle East is on the brink of a wider war between Israel and Lebanese Hezbollah, which includes a fresh statement by EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell warning, quote, we are on the eve of the war expanding. Quote, the risk of this war affecting the south of Lebanon and spilling over is every day bigger, Borrell told reporters while going into a foreign ministers meeting in Luxembourg. This follows days ago Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah declaring that if Israel launches a bigger offensive, quote, nowhere would be safe, and even EU member Cyprus could come under fire given its historic cooperation with Israel's military. Greek and Cypriot leaders have condemned, Cypriot, that's a pretty cool word, have condemned the threat as, quote, absolutely unacceptable. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock also on Monday confirmed she'll travel to Lebanon as soon as part of a diplomatic push to avoid escalation. Quote, a further escalation would be a catastrophe for people in the region, she said. A Sunday interview by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did nothing to calm things, but has only ratcheted tensions. Fucking Netanyahu, man. Given, he signaled that winding down Gaza operations in the south will mean taking a bigger fight to Hezbollah in the north. Netanyahu said in a lengthy TV interview that while the army is close to completing its current ground offensive in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, that would not mean the war is over. But he said fewer troops would be needed in Gaza, freeing up forces to battle Hezbollah. Quote, "We have the possibility of transferring some of our forces north. And we will do that," he told Israel's Channel 14, a pro-Netanyahu TV channel, in an interview that was frequently interrupted by applause from the studio audience. That makes me think of Star Wars Episode 3. So this is how liberty dies, to thunderous applause, to sounds of thunderous applause, like waving Ukraine flags as we initiate World War III and set ourselves up for being nuclear bombed. First and foremost for defense, he added, but also to allow tens of thousands of displaced Israelis to return home. And I saw something about, well, I'll have to find it because I can't remember the details, but I'll keep my eyes out for some supplementary information regarding this. Can't specifically recall exactly what it was at this point. But he says we can fight on several fronts and we are prepared to do that, while also saying he's still open to diplomatic solution. But that the problem can be solved, quote, in a different way if needed. Meanwhile, there are fresh reports that France is offering the Lebanese government a military deal if its armed forces agree to push Hezbollah away from the Israeli border. Paris wants the Lebanese army to launch a security operation to move Hezbollah back to the Litani River. However, the scenario is far-fetched. At OSINT Defender, France, as well as several other unnamed countries, have reportedly offered military assistance and support to Lebanon, including airstrikes and advisors, if they decide to launch a security operation in the south of the country to push Hezbollah back to the Litani River in accordance with the UN Security Council Resolution 1701, with hopes that this may avoid an Israeli invasion of southern Lebanon. They continue, "I have serious doubts that Lebanon would ever even consider this. It would 100% mean another civil war, and unless these countries are willing to put, quote, boots on the ground, unquote, it is a war that the Lebanese armed forces cannot win. Though the liberation of Lebanon from Hezbollah would mean a major failure for Iran and could potentially provide another significant ally in the Middle East for the US and Europe." We should just not be involved at all with any of this. That's what I think. These fucking shit leftards, though, will not rest
Los zurdos de mierda.
until we are all destroyed, it seems. Let's jump over to InfoWars as we have a warning of false flag type stuff that may occur leading up to the election as Maxine Waters, Mad Maxine, chums the water with thoughts of terrorist attacks. Jones saying, "Mad Maxine, election flag, election false flag alert." Mad Maxine says, "Blood in the streets before November." Blood in the streets before November.
Well, I'm very concerned not only about my safety and not only about the safety of members of Congress. I'm concerned about the safety of so many people in this country, particularly people of color. Donald.
These people are so delusional. It's absolutely bananas.
Trump has said that if he does not win, it's going to be fraud. And because it's going to be fraud, there's going to be blood in the streets. He threatens about a civil war.
No, he actually said that there would be an economic bloodbath, and you know that. You lying shit leftard propagandist fuckweasel.
And he threatens there's going to be violence. So I say all of this talk is motivational with many of those who are racist, who are sitting at home listening to him, and they're taking him up on his threats even before the elections take place. And so,
like we've been saying, they're going to stage attacks. Blame it on MAGA. She's setting the stage, preconditioning people to accept the narrative that MAGA is launching attacks before the election. Prepare, guys. They're going to be, yeah, Sledge, exactly. F that dumb bitch. I agree wholeheartedly, Sledge. 1953. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So they're seeding the waters, preparing people to accept the official mainstream narrative when attacks occur. Attacks on synagogues, black churches, potentially, federal buildings. These are the likely options, although it could take any number, a myriad, a plethora of forms. But she's seeding people's minds, planting seeds, so that when they come out and blame MAGA, that the left will just accept it blindly. Let's continue.
It's about thousands, maybe millions of people, being threatened and being at risk because of Donald Trump and his desire to wreak revenge on anything and everybody.
Wreaking revenge and getting justice.
InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next. Visit Infowars.com/show and share
Mars News today.
The pre-programming, the preparation, 100% tells you what they're going to do. Just like if you're a football coach and you see the other team's formation, you can tell they're going to run it, they're going to pass it. You know what's going on. And so they have been the globalists have been all over the controlled news.
It's so obvious
imminent
how they
white
operate.
supremacist Trump supporter attacks. They're hiding in the woods. They're training. They're going to get us. Every major channel saying it constantly. There's going to be blood. Trump's going to be a dictator. You've heard it. You've seen it, along with all the movies and TV shows and production in the fiction realm to kind of bolster
Civil War movie, etc.
And amplify that BS.
Buttress.
So now Maxine Waters has emerged again and said, there's going to be blood in the streets one way or the other. Now, not the mostly peaceful demonstrations where they burn down half the country. No, she has no evidence of this, but she says there will be blood in the streets because of Trump, whether he wins or not.
Right, but it totally didn't count when BLM and Antifa lit up entire cities in mostly fiery, but mostly peaceful protests. Yeah, Mama Mac, there's all kinds of information coming out about Biden's regime declaring MAGA domestic terrorists. There's another story, the new one that's somewhere in my list, about them using J6 to launch, a heavy-handed surveillance on MAGA, generally speaking. Let's continue.
So she just said a few weeks ago,
yeah, Sledge.
I've had the briefings and the FBI.
That would be life insurance for Trump. Imagine if Trump made Alex Jones VP. They would never, ever try to, take him out or something, because Alex Jones as president would be 1,000 times worse for the deep state. We can hope. Sledge. Indel, good to see you, brother. Sorry you got to watch on YouTube because Rumble's freezing every 35 minutes. That sucks. But quick thought, does Maxine Waters look just like Paul Stanley? Maybe it's just me. From Kiss, that's hilarious. Patriot Cole, 76, good to see you again. Maxine emerges from the swamp. God, she's awful. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and Indel, maybe consider watching on X so you don't have to give YouTube any traffic. We are indeed live over there as far as I know. We should be. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. Patriot Cole, 76. Good to see you again. And Indel, always a pleasure, my friend. Let's continue.
Yeah, I need to tell you, the Trump supporters are training in the woods to kill black people. So think Governor Whitmer fake kidnapping plot 10.0. So they've got wound up crazy white supremacists ready to go and ready to kill a bunch of black people. And you can just sit back and see it.
Val McGinnis, good to see you. Been a while, yeah. Shout out. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here.
They're going to do. 60% of Hispanics are now supporting Trump. Upwards of 50% of blacks are now supporting, depending on the demographic. They are in full panic mode, so what do? Well, you wind up some crazies, or you stage it yourself, and you kill a bunch of black people. Think Jussie Smollett, but for real. Very simple.
You mean French actor Jussie Smollett?
That's what they're doing. What do we do about it is the bigger question. Here she is.
Thanks, Sledge.
How concerned are you, Congresswoman, about your safety if Donald Trump is reelected?
Well, I'm very concerned, not only about my safety and not only about the safety of members of Congress.
So this is the clip we already saw. Just a shit show as usual. Let's hop over to our next topic, follow up on Veritas, on James O'Keefe's reporting from a couple days ago with Disney. He ended up catching up with the senior VP from Disney, who was caught on camera admitting to Disney's discriminatory hiring practices against white men. And apparently he fled James O'Keefe after an awkward confrontation. Christina Layla wrote this article. Got me on my knees, Layla. James O'Keefe confronted Michael Giordano, the senior VP at Walt Disney, who admitted to discriminatory hiring practices against white men. Things got super awkward after two different undercover journalists who, quote, dated Michael Giordano also confronted him. Both journalists left the scene as James O'Keefe entered the stage to confront Giordano. Recall that O'Keefe Media Group last Thursday released the undercover video of the Disney senior vice president detailing the discriminatory hiring processes and how they're very coded with the way they describe the hiring needs to agents. But they straight up tell people on the inside, nope, we don't want white men for this. Yeah, nobody's going to tell you this. Nobody else is going to tell you this, but they're not considering any white males for the job, says Michael Giordano. You guys remember the video? Let's hop over to O'Keefe's follow-up on X, posting this might not be the follow-up, actually. Let me see, make sure I got the right video. Here we go. Confronted James O'Keefe at James O'Keefe III. James O'Keefe III, guerrilla journalist, confronted the Walt Disney senior vice president Michael Giordano is confronted by James O'Keefe and O'Keefe Media after, am I not following them? That's crazy. After uncovering at Disney's discriminatory hiring practices, the situation intensified when one of our American swipers confronts Giordano about having a tickle in his throat to avoid seeing her while on a date with another American swiper. Wow, so he tells one swiper, sorry, I can't go out on a date with you because I got a tickle in my throat. Little do they know that there's another swiper he's going out on a date with. So he's lying. So it starts off as like a love triangle confrontation. And then it turns into James O'Keefe coming in, entering the stage to question Giordano. This is hilarious. Wow. All right, we're definitely zooming and enhancing for this one. This is fucking priceless. Holy hell. This type of shit is absolutely hilarious to me. How people get roped into these honeypots with the dating apps. Be careful, guys. If you're corrupt, definitely don't be talking about your corruption on dates, no matter how pretty the chick is and how much she asks you. Or dude, if you're a queer.
This is an LA day, you know? We haven't had a lot of them. Sorry again that I was 2 minutes late.
Let's take a look real quick.
LA day.
Active swiper. Look at her. She looks pretty pretty. No wonder she's able to squeeze these guys for intel.
You know? We haven't had a lot of them. Sorry again that I was 2 minutes late.
All good. You don't care if my girlfriend comes to pick up my K-pop, right?
No, of course.
Okay. Oh, hey, babe! Hey.
Uh-oh.
Hi. Do you guys know each other?
This is hilarious. They're pretending it's like a legit love triangle situation. You guys know each other? This is fucking genius.
Yes?
Wait, do you guys know each other?
Yes.
Are you guys on a date?
We are.
I thought you said you couldn't date me because you had a tickle in your throat, and here you are with my friend.
Oh, wow. You told me you had a tickle in your throat.
I did.
Is this how you call tickle? Going out with my friends?
Hey. Yo. And fucking boss hog approaching.
Hi, is your name Michael Giordano? Maybe. Do you work for Disney?
Bro, he doesn't fucking recognize James O'Keefe. This guy is such a disconnected little twit, man. He has no idea the shark-infested waters that he's trying to swim through.
I'm not gonna. Is this you right here? I'm not. So you are the vice president of the Walt Disney Company, and you're on tape saying that you don't hire white males. Quote, no way we're hiring a white male.
There's no way we're hiring a white male, Mitch.
Sir, are you the vice president?
At least he was quoting somebody else, and it's not his policy ideas, so, it's a little bit of a reputation saver for himself.
At Disney? Do you know about Title VII
Giordano Threeper, he's Italian.
of the Civil Rights Act?
But yeah, he was talking about like how Threeper, if you missed the last week's story about this, he was saying that even opportunities for himself would be limited, that he was worried that he would not have upward mobility because he's a white male, straight white male. So he was like, yeah, you know, kind of caught in the middle. It almost seemed like he may have known he was intentionally blowing the whistle. But this video makes it seem like he had no idea that he was being trapped.
Are you the vice president at Disney? Do you know about Title VII of the Civil Rights Act about discriminating against people based upon religion and race, sir? Quote, I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white, you know.
Here all the time, like, you know, I'm looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
Disney.
Well, I am typically a face man, Mama Mac, but she had a nice body. She had a nice body. Maybe her face was blurred, but her body was perfectly visible.
He is concerned. I'm a white male. I have friends in HR. Mike, who are your friends in HR?
As far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking to promote at the moment. I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions.
Do you think that being
Gator says, does he have a tickle in his throat? Newest action figure could solve that. Hawk Tua with a realistic spit on that thing action. I don't know if you guys have seen the Hawk Tua girl, but she is just dominating the internet right now. She had to delete all of her profiles and everything because everybody wants wants some of that spit on that thing action. Everybody wants some Hawk Tua. She's pretty too as well, so understandable.
being quiet is going to help you?
You don't have authority to put me on tape. Goodbye.
I will put you on tape, and I do have that authority under the First Amendment. You know, just because you work in Hollywood doesn't give you entitlement to discriminate against people on the basis of race.
Yeah, and this guy clearly doesn't understand the laws. If this is Florida and James O'Keefe is filming people, then that means that he's confirmed that this is a single-party consent state, where it only means that one person has to consent to filming, basically. So you can film anybody in public places without the secondary parties' consent at all.
Michael Giordano.
There you go, Threeper. Agreed.
Sir.
O'Keefe is hilarious. Dude's driving around cars through parking spots to evade him.
Hi, Michael. Watch out.
This is legendary, bro.
Discrimination on the basis of race. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act.
Look at that giant monitor he's got in the car. Wow.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Your face, James. In shape, bro.
I was getting my exercise with these guys. Whew. Oh man. Yeah, he was out of there on the New York Minute.
Angel Eyes. Thanks for joining us. Nice to meet you. What real men says tickle in their throat? Gay as fuck. Agreed. That's fucking hilarious, Angel Eyes. Thanks for commenting.
We confronted him and he drove away in his Tesla. Very upset. The two girls confronting him at the same time. Apparently he lied and told one girl that he has a little itch in his throat. We have someone gesturing. Let's see what happened. This guy works for Disney and he was discriminating against people in the hiring process. And he was on a date, but it wasn't a date. It was an undercover person with a hidden camera. The vice president of Disney sat right next to you.
He's the vice president of Disney?
You bet, yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Mike Giordano.
And so that was like a fake date?
That was a fake date.
And who was the girl? His girlfriend?
There were actually two girls. One girl confronted the other because he was lying to one of the girls about the girls he was dating. So it was a whole... That was a real undercover investigation right there. That was not a real girlfriend. There were two girls, and the other girl made an excuse, and then they showed up and confronted him. And
wait, and so that girl was here on a date with him, and it was like a setup to get him here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a week goes by.
Hilarious. Wow, they actually gave their names to be interviewed by O'Keefe here. Nick Hagum, and the chick had her name visible on screen as well. Chiara. So that's pretty cool. Even though he seems a little flamboyant himself, it doesn't seem like he's a hardcore anti-O'Keefe leftist type. So this is cool. This whole situation is hilarious. Just gotta say, really, really funny. Let's move on to our next topic. And if you guys want to watch the rest of this video, link will be in the description. You know what? I'll actually just take it right now and post it down into the chat on Rumble for you guys, because this is hilarious. Save the link, watch this in full later. OMG, getting it done. So let's jump over to our next video, just a little palate cleanser before we hop into more news. But we have video coming out from a looks like a nightclub of a SpaceX launch during the Horizon Music Festival in San Diego, California. Really cool. So I'm going to explain to you guys the physics and everything of what's going on here, because there have been some misunderstandings with this type of formation in the sky before with these type of rocket launches. But take a look at this. Imagine being at a party and seeing this overhead. Music sounds like pigs. Dubstep. Pretty sick. So you can see that the plume effect of the rocket exhaust gets wider and wider and wider and wider as it goes up, and it's visible at even though it's dark out, which is kind of cool. Basically what happens is when the sun goes down over the horizon, the shadows will rise upwards. So if you're at Giza Plateau, for instance, and you were looking at the sun setting on the pyramids, you'd see the shadows rise up like a dark tide, swallowing the pyramids from the base up until just the peak of the pyramids are visible, and then they're shrouded in darkness. Extrapolating, as the sun goes down, the shadows rise. So the sun is down, but this rocket is up so high, where way up in the atmosphere, the sun is illuminating the exhaust. And when you get up that high, the atmospheric pressure decreases. So the higher it gets, you can see the wider and wider the plume of exhaust gets, because the atmospheric pressure is less and less. So the exhaust fumes just spread apart really fast. Some people think that it's like skimming across the surface of water, but the wake is way too wide for it to be water, and it's the result of the low atmospheric pressure at that time period, or at that altitude. But let's take a listen again. Giant interstellar sperm creeper. Hell yeah. Right, yeah, people think it's breaking bouncing up against the firmament, but sorry to break it to you, it's not. It's just expansion of gases at low pressure, which the only thing that we can relate it to is if the gases were like smacking against a surface that causes them to spread at low altitude. But physics are a little different at high altitude, so we get that cool phenomena taking place, and the sun is below the horizon, but it's still shining way up high, so it's illuminated in the darkness, which is a really cool effect as well. Let's hop over to Wall Street Apes and get a little update on the Maui situation. Wall Street Apes at Wall Street Apes. We are the resistance. Update on the Lahaina Maui fire victims. New, quote, aloha from Lahaina, Maui, June 22nd update. As you can see, you still can't get into Lahaina. Access is still restricted. Nobody's rebuilding yet. Still 10 months into the fires. It's got to be like 11 months now, right? 11 and a half, wasn't it July last year? To get a building permit, you have to go to the county. They now have a review board. You have to fill out, you have this paperwork. It's just endless, and it takes forever. It's a building permit process review board. Just everything's being slowed down and dragging on, and you wonder why, because they're trying to bankrupt everybody involved. Let's take a look at this video.
Aloha from Lahaina, Maui, June 22nd update. As you can see,
what happened to the kids? I still want answers. We can't let this go.
You still can't get into Lahaina. Access is still restricted. Nobody's rebuilding yet. Still,
thanks, Cole.
10 months into the fires. To get a building permit, you have to go to the county. They now have a review board. You have to fill out this paperwork. It's just endless, and it takes forever. It's a building permit process review board. Just there, everything's just being slowed down and dragging on, and you wonder why. And so the Army of Engineers have said they cleaned out 1,200 lots, residential lots, of debris, ashes, toxic. I don't know what. I still don't know. I'm not an expert. What's
exactly,
toxic?
Donna. And they're dragging out the process because they're still collecting money from these property owners and making sure to bankrupt them before they can even have the chance to rebuild, in my opinion, because they want the property themselves.
They're now slowly.
But who are they to claim, oh, you can't access your own property? This is feudalism in action.
Pure evil!
This is what they want. You will own nothing. You will be happy. Feudal lords will own the property, and you'll be allowed access at their whim because you don't own shit.
You're doing commercial lots. Like 40 commercial lots have been cleared. They said they cleaned out 2,000 burned vehicles. I think it's all moving slow, but, you know, people say, well, here we're on an island. But anyway, you have to wonder why. I'm just reporting and you guys decide. So the fire victims have to leave their hotels July 1st. There's these little container homes in Kahului they're supposed to go into.
This is fucked
Only
up.
one building permit has been issued so far. Crazy. So
What about the kids? The kids that supposedly died in the fires? I don't buy it, man. We need investigations. The satellite footage showing the school buses at the Air Force base nearby. Were those kids taken away, sent home during the middle of school when this was all going on while their parents were at work and then rounded up and sold off? That's what it seems like to me. 2,000 kids reported not being in school following this whole thing happening, and they claim they died in the fires. I don't buy it. We need a serious investigation.
These are the little tiny container homes in Kahului for fire victims. But, you know, so
There you go,
many people
Natron,
have left the
exactly.
island. They've given up. It's sad. If you want to help, there's a link in my bio. Thank you.
Thanks for the update, Val.
Aloha
Yeah,
from
we need investigations onto that or into that. Super, super messed up. Let's hop over to CNN. We have basically a preview of, we're going to hop over to Zero Hedge, who's covering CNN. But we have basically a preview of what the debate is going to look like this week with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And Joe Biden, I heard he was left for a 7-day vacation on Friday, probably to get all dosed up with all kinds of crazy fluids and stimulants and stuff to make sure that he's actually operational for the debate. 7 days of medical preparations to make sure their patsy is functional. This proved our point. CNN anchor slammed over mic cut exposing Jake Tapper lies. In case you needed a preview of what to expect during this week's presidential election debate hosted by CNN, we present the following. Just seconds after Trump 2024 National Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt began to discuss the CNN's historical bias against her candidate, most specifically that of debate moderator Jake Tapper's history of anti-Trump lies, CNN anchor Casey Hunt ma'amed her and immediately cut her mic and ended the interview. Let's hop over to X, to Jack Posobiec, who posted this, doing good work. Breaking: CNN host Casey cuts off Trump spokes. Let's see how many followers this chick has. 611,000 followers. How is this possible? That many people still buy the CNN BS? Got to be a lot of like bot accounts that she paid. You know, CNN probably paid to stuff her stocking, so to speak, with a bunch of fake bot followers. Anyway, Casey cuts off Trump spokeswoman Kay Leavitt NH. We'll follow her. The second she brings up Jake Tapper spending years of comparing Trump to Adolf Hitler. This is a preview of how CNN will act during the debate. Let's check it out.
It takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently
stop this interview if you're going to keep
President
attacking my
Trump to
colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am,
She's not attacking your colleagues. She's calling out fake information. It does, you know, like, come on. They won't even allow her to talk.
I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleague.
Mr. Trump, we're going to stop this debate if you continue to attack, or Mr. Biden or whatever.
I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am
Shut up and
stating
let's have the
facts that your
conversation.
colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
Now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to come back out to the
expectation
panel.
for-
Caroline,
the
thank you very much for
expectation
your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they
Just
both
cut her off.
join us now at later this week in Atlanta.
Look at how
for
triggered
this
she is.
debate.
She can barely even talk. Angel Eyes says, didn't Trump win the coin toss to get his answers in after Biden? W. If so, yeah, that's a big W. If you got a link, feel free to send it, and I'll check it out, because that is hilarious. So yeah, this is what we can expect from the CNN debate, just not allowing Trump to even talk probably whenever he gets into a topic that they're not keen on. Let's Let's check out this this clip of Jake Tapper over here and see what's going on with this.
Rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the
Sorry,
United States.
Natron.
Trump a couple times over the weekend
You're the hurl
referred
camera.
to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. Open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf. You would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
Yeah, if you're going to spew.
If you're gonna spew into this.
Sorry for CNNing you guys there. Natron, I didn't mean to burn your eyes out with that. I know it's brutal. It's brutal. Let's hop over to something less brutal and more inspiring with Ben Carson. Mama Mac posting this at _Mama Mac _. Make sure to follow Mama Mac on X. At this point, my choices for potential Trump VP picks would be Ron Paul or Ben Carson. Mr. Carson may be soft-spoken, but he carries a big stick with his knowledge. Nice, Mama Mac. Let's check it out. We got MJ Truth Ultra over here posting Ben Carson dropping red pills, 45 goals of communism in America. It's happening as we speak. Quote, those who want to change us into a Marxist or communist country, they don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Yeah. Read into the congressional record of 1963, the 45 goals of communism in America. Quote, you can see it all happening now. Infiltrate the public schools and teachers unions to indoctrinate the kids. Infiltrate the news media and Hollywood. Drive wedges between the parents and children and denigrate the status of the family. Make sexual perversion normal, natural, and healthy. Let's check out Ben Carson over here dropping truth bombs.
Those who want to fundamentally change us into a Marxist or a communist country, they don't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. They just want to manipulate you. As it says in the book.
Good one, Natron.
In the congressional record, January 10th, 1963, when Congressman Herlong of Florida read in the 45 goals of communism in America. It's pretty touching because you can see all of it happening now, and that was over 60 years ago. Infiltrate the public school system and teacher unions so that you can indoctrinate the kids. Infiltrate the news media and Hollywood so that you can basically manipulate the population. Drive wedges between parents and children.
Super based, Carson.
Status of the family.
I don't really know much about Ben Carson, but Patriot Cole 76 just said, dude is hella smart. I agree. Anybody that's calling out communism like that is somebody we want on our side, because we can have disagreements about a lot of other stuff. But as long as we agree that communism is pure, unadulterated, 100% evil.
100% evil.
Then we are on the same side. This is the type of dude we need in government to get rid of these communist influences.
Make sexual perversion normal, natural, and healthy. I mean, right down the line, you look and say, check, check, check. Mm-hmm. America.
But McCarthy was totally wrong.
Used to be the shiny city on the hill, and now it's declining rather rapidly. I was in Europe last year talking to a number of people, and I said, what do you think about America? And the answer I got was, we think you've lost your minds. And that was very concerning to them, because if America goes, what happens to everybody else?
Boom. What does he say about COVID, Mama Mac? About that whole situation? We'll have to wait and talk about that on Rumble exclusive portion of the broadcast. But we will we'll keep broadcasting on YouTube for a little bit, since we have Angel Eyes watching over there. We don't want to ditch everybody necessarily before we get into hardcore Rumble and X only territory. But when the time comes, I will put the link in the chat for you guys to come join us on Rumble. How about this next story? This is an interesting one coming from the Gateway Pundit, who's currently under fire from all directions, with lawfare. Ruby and Shay Freeman, the pair of ne'er-do-wells, let's say, who pulled out the tubs of ballots from under the tables in Georgia on election night 2020 on video, and we're running fake stacks of ballots through the machines repeatedly, allegedly. Assume everything we say on this podcast is false, and research for yourself, because we don't want to be sued by these bitches too. They sued Rudy Giuliani, got hundreds of millions of dollars in a settlement, or at least they're trying to, after the default judged him as well, refused to give him an actual trial by jury like Alex Jones. He's guilty. Jury, tell me how guilty he is. So same thing is happening to the Gateway Pundit right now, unfortunately. Developing cyber group claims it hacked the Federal Reserve, but cybersecurity experts express doubts about claims. They would have to express doubts about those claims because the Federal Reserve monetary system is literally a confidence scheme. It's backed by nothing, by paper. And if people lose confidence, like other countries, for instance, they'll dump the dollar and it's over for us. So they have no choice but to say that, oh, this didn't happen. But who knows? Let's see. Russian cyber group dubbed Lockbit claims it hacked the Federal Reserve and exfiltrated 33 terabytes of sensitive banking data. Exfiltrated means to draw something from within. Like if you're a Splinter Cell and you go on a mission, you infiltrate and you get in, and then you exfiltrate and you get out. Lockbit boasted about the breach on the dark web this week. Quote, 33 terabytes of juicy banking information containing Americans' banking secrets, Lockbit wrote. You better hire another negotiator within 48 hours and fire this clinical idiot who values Americans' bank secrecy at $50,000. Wow. Wow. Someone let him in for $50,000? Is that what he's claiming here? Let's, so here's the post from Hack Manic on X. U.S. Federal Reserve has been listed as a victim by the Lockbit 3.0 ransomware group. Hackers allegedly exfiltrated 33 terabytes of banking information. That's a fuck ton of data, especially when it's not pictures and stuff. It's just straight up text file data probably. That's huge. The ransom deadline is the 25th of June. So is that tomorrow? This is super, super sketchy. Let's hop over and see what more the tweet says. Okay, nothing really more. Federalreserve.gov. Federal banking is the term for the way blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sketchy. Super, super sketchy. So this could be bad. We'll see what happens. Cybersecurity experts, of course, expressed doubts about Lockbit's claims. If Lockbit ransomware group actually ransomed the United States Federal Reserve, it would be DEFCON 2, and the administrators would need to worry about a drone strike. The group jokingly wrote, quote, unless Lockbit ransomware group ransomed something small in the Federal Reserve, like maybe Lockbit took down their coffee machine, and they can't watch anime or something, we don't know what the staff of the Federal Reserve actually do. VX Underground, yesterday Lockbit ransomware group claimed to have ransomed the United States Federal Reserve. 1, doubt. 2, if Lockbit ransomware group actually ransomed, yeah, so that's what we just read. Yeah, you mess with the banks, you're messing with the puppet masters. And the Federal Reserve is the biggest puppet of the international banking puppet master cartel. So you target them, you got a target on your head. Big time. The Daily Dot reported the ransomware group known as Lockbit claimed to have hacked the Federal Reserve Bank. It says it will release 33 terabytes of sensitive data on Tuesday. In a post to the dark web this week, the criminal organization alleged that it had been in talks with the bank in order to secure a ransom in exchange for keeping the data private. 33 terabytes of juicy banking information. Lockbit rose to prominence in 2019 by bringing in millions of dollars in ransom payments. And although the group's online infrastructure was shuttered by the FBI and other law enforcement agencies in February, Lockbit has managed to reemerge and continue its operations. Cybersecurity experts, however, are skeptical of claims regarding the Federal Reserve and note that Lockbit has not released any sample data. So it could be a front, could be a bluff. They're saying that would be hilarious. Oh, man. Speaking of, the Federal Reserve and it being a confidence scheme, and if confidence is diminished, that the fallout would be horrifying. We have an article from Zero Hedge about the possible fallout of a scenario like that. This is going to be far worse than the Great Depression. This is via Greg Hunter's USAWatchdog.com. Financial writer and precious metals broker Bill Holter has been documenting all the unpayable debt that has been building up in the financial system like cancer. The latest black hole of default is coming from a big bank in Japan. Norin Chukin Bank is selling $63 billion in treasuries and other sovereign bonds to stay afloat. We talked about that last week. Then there is recent news announced by the FDIC that 63 banks, the names are being kept secret, have more than $500 billion in losses, predicted by Kirk Elliott months ago. We covered that as well on InfoWars. I predicted regional banks tanking, and right on cue, look at $500 billion in losses. Let's not forget about the trillions in losses sitting on the books of European banks ready to suck the world into a black debt hole. This is just a few of many on a long list of destabilizing problems that can tank the entire over-indebted financial system. Holter warns the list is so long. It could be a banking problem. It could be a derivatives problem. It could be a derivatives problem of the stock market, the bond market, and you could see a failure to deliver in silver some type of warfare that could crash the system. You could see warfare in Ukraine, Israel, or Taiwan. The system is so unstable at this point, it could be anything that could bring it down. And they need to bring it down to blame war or blame COVID as starting it, because they're intentionally destroying the dollar, using the dollar as a monetized debt weapon to suck value out of the U.S. system and hoard it. So they're intentionally crashing the system. They need something at this point, could be anything, to trigger the collapse, to take the blame off of them. Unpayable debt is not just a U.S. problem. This is all over the world. And in case, people think this is not an intentional type thing, big as life. Sorry. I'm like, no, don't apologize, my friend. Once it's out there for people at their convenience. But good to catch you live. Thanks for joining us. This is all over the world. Central banks are going to have to issue huge amounts of debt because we're in the exponential decay phase. And I've been predicting this as a mathematical inevitability since 2008. The US dollar is doomed. There's no question about it. It will crash. It will burn. There will be chaos. Sorry to break it to you. But all signals point to this being inevitable. Add to that the $10 trillion in debt the U.S. government has to roll over by the end of the year. Meanwhile, they said it. They said the thing. Meanwhile, the U.S. government piles on $1 trillion in new debt every 100 days. Think about that. That's nuts. What could go wrong? It took us like 200 years before we even had $1 billion in debt. Now we're at an exponential rate of just skyrocketing. We're in for Weimar Germany or early 2000s Zimbabwe hyperinflation, unfortunately. So make sure you have something other than paper backing your savings. Precious metals are good. Anything, medicine, cleaning supplies, shoes, things that people will need, hard assets that may be in demand after a collapse, stockpiles, you name it. But don't just sit on paper, because paper burns, especially in a hyperinflation scenario. Holter said the last time he was on a USAW that there was a little less than a 50% chance we could even have an election. Now he predicts it's even more likely there will be no presidential election in 2024. Holter says, quote, "There is no way the system, as it is now, survives. It's mathematically impossible." See, this is what I'm saying. So if it's mathematically impossible, are they going to blow smoke up until the day it blows up? Or are they going to do something to blow it up and then say our programs and policies were working, except for XYZ, except for World War III, except for COVID? They need something to take the blame off of themselves. This is obvious. This is inevitable. Or are they going to blow it up and say our policies worked except for X, Y, Z, or this or whatever? They have to kick the table over. They cannot allow the table to fall over on its own, because then there's going to be finger pointing. To avoid the finger pointing, they have got to kick the table over. I haven't even read this yet. It's just exactly what I've been saying since 2008. It's mathematically inevitable. They need to cast the blame on something else. Holter also thinks gold is going to exponential numbers to back all the debt the USA has. I've been predicting $50,000 gold at a minimum if there's an actual market correction. I mean, silver in Weimar Germany from 1919 to 1923 went from being 12 marks an ounce to being 150 billion marks an ounce. So $50,000 gold is like nothing. It's like a small prediction. This guy says if you go with the 8,030 tons of gold the government claims is at Fort Knox, though nobody's been in Fort Knox since 1974, when Ron Paul's had his first term in the U.S. Congress down in Texas. He was in the tour group that went through Fort Knox for the last time before they closed the doors to the public. I have a song about this called Open the Door, I think it is, and about how they took all the gold from Fort Knox, allegedly. They locked the doors, and the Rothschilds basically took custody of the gold. I posit that there's a lot underneath the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, the premise of Die Hard 3, and that it's probably flowing in molten rivers and fountains in Rothschild mansions. That's what I predict in the song. But the gold is not at Fort Knox. It's probably empty and a front, and they need to keep the doors closed because otherwise people, holy shit, would realize that there's nothing back in the dollar at all. And even though 1971, August 15th, Nixon cut the tie from the dollar to gold entirely. So if you go with the 8,030 tons of gold the government claims is at Fort Knox, bullshit, you will need a dollar price of gold at $125,000 per ounce for 100% gold backing of the dollar. Holter also says the dollar is being pushed out of the global financial system. Yeah. BRICS, like I've talked about, all of the fiat paper-backed currencies that are being perpetrated on humanity by the central bank criminal international cartel, they're all being decreased in value, but all at like a rate with each other. So they stay around the same ratio of value to one another while they're all simultaneously being devalued to disguise the collapse. But when you have the BRICS gold-backed dollar hop on the scene later this year, the BRICS will be a fixed point on the chart, and it will reveal that all the other currencies are dropping as BRICS stays up towards the top. So it's going to be a major, major problem. Donna says that Obama gave away the gold. It's gone. And Jan Halper Hayes did an interesting interview. She was one of the higher-ups in the Trump administration. She said that Trump confiscated 61 planes full of gold back from the Vatican, I think she said. Who knows if that's true, but she would be in a position to know. So really weird. So Holter says, quote, demand for dollars is shrinking at a time when borrowing demand is rising. This is going to be a disaster for America and anyone holding dollars in the future. Exactly what I've been predicting forever. In closing, Holter says, quote, the financial collapse that is coming will be worse than anything we've ever experienced. If you thought the Great Depression was bad, like I'm going to lowball it and say like 90% of people during the Great Depression era were rural and had self-sufficient communities with farms and everything they need to survive in a bad situation. So the Depression was bad, but they were able to scrape together enough resources to survive largely. But at this point, it's like the opposite. 99.9% of people are not self-sufficient, do not have self-sufficient communities. A Great Depression type disaster at this point, like a collapse as bad as the Great Depression would be 100 times worse. And this disaster that we're looking at is 1,000 times worse, maybe 1,000,000 times worse than the Great Depression. So this could be astronomical in terms of devastation. I mean, like total wipeouts of populations. We import 70% of our food. Economy collapses, imports stop, bam. 50% of people dead. So, who knows? He says this is going to be far worse than the Great Depression simply because society itself is far worse. Back in the Great Depression, you had neighbors helping neighbors. Together, you have neighbors picking on other neighbors like vultures. This is a 51-minute interview. So definitely check out this story. Listen to this guy because it sounds to me like he knows exactly what's going on. Yeah, in other words, the king has no clothes, Threeper, exactly. 53 years since gold has been seen, Donna says. I bet they're painting lead. Yeah, lead or tungsten steel. It's been discovered that they're both very similar in atomic weight and density and mass per volume to gold. So there have been bars discovered in people's collections, bars being sold by China that are tungsten steel, just coated in a very thin layer of gold. So you got to drill into the bars to make sure you're actually getting real gold nowadays if you're buying gold. Super duper sketchy. Let's jump to our next topic that I briefly mentioned earlier over here, also at Zero Hedge. Biden Department of Homeland Security used January 6th to justify supercharged surveillance of Trump supporters. According to court documents, the Department of Homeland Security, quote, experts group that included the deep state laptop letter partisans James Clapper and John Brennan, scumbag and dickbag, advocated using January 6th and the Mar-a-Lago raid to justify expanding surveillance of political dissidents. This latest bombshell comes from America First Legal, Stephen Miller, I believe, which is suing the Biden DHS along with former acting DNI Richard Grenell, who did really good work as acting Director of National Intelligence, over the September 2023 formation of the, quote, Homeland Intelligence Experts Group, which they've accused of violating the Federal Advisory Committee Act due to lack of balance and transparency. America First Legal. Docs show Biden DHS Intel Group used J6 and the Mar-a-Lago raid to justify expanding surveillance of political dissent. The group advocated for a, quote, collection based on speech, as in spying on Americans for criticizing their government. Deep State Diaries Part 3. They've been doing some good Deep State Diaries work lately over on X, exposing all kinds of stuff. According to these new documents, one group member noted that, quote, prior to January 6th, i.e., under the Trump administration, analysts thought that, quote, it was inappropriate to collect, unquote, intelligence on Americans. After J6, however, they observed a change in the collection and reporting methods. The intelligence apparatus built under George Bush was always intended to be turned in against Americans. They created it by getting everybody scared with 9/11, using mass formation psychosis to get people whipped up into a frenzy, hypnotized. 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, like a swinging medallion from a hypnotist. And then when you're under mass formation hypnosis, you will, out of desperate terror, just listen to figures of authority when they offer solutions, and no solution is beyond the pale. You'll go along with anything. So in this case, they scared the shit out of us with a major terror attack that they orchestrated with Israel, blew up buildings live on national TV, murdering 3,000 Americans plus. And then they convinced everybody, well, we need to build a spying apparatus to keep us all safe. The premise of the TV show Person of Interest, which I know, I think Donna mentioned it last week, which I've been balls deep in. Really fucking good show. Every episode is better and has me saying, oh shit, even more than the last one. So highly recommend that show, Person of Interest, starring Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, who played the lead in last summer's blockbuster Sound of Freedom that beat Indiana Jones in the box office, even though it was made by just a small independent production company. Really impressive stuff. Really good show. Anyway, let's see. Where were we? Continued via X, the documents indicate that under the Biden administration, the federal government has used January 6th to justify expanding efforts to collect intelligence on what they deem DVE, or domestic violent extremists. And this was always the plan. That's the point I was making. They used the fear of 9/11 to get people to go along with building the spying apparatus with the intent of turning it inwards on us and using it to subjugate and persecute Americans, because that's their goal, is to destroy America, to subsume us into global government, in my opinion, and that of many others as well. As the second installment of hashtag Deep State Diaries showed, domestic violent extremists is the DVEs is the group's term for people who are religious, in the military, or support Donald Trump, just like the Missouri Information Analysis Center, the FEMA Fusion Center in 2009, their report labeling people with Ron Paul bumper stickers, Chuck Baldwin bumper stickers that say "We the People," or talk about the Constitution or Declaration of Independence as domestic terrorists. This has been in the works for a long time. The Brennan Clapper group discussed, quote, collection based on sites where they expect to see indicators, suggesting that the federal government sought to monitor sites they viewed as, quote, domestic extremism threats. Going back to the First Amendment and the collection based on speech, collection based on sites where they expect to see indicators rather than a particular person for a particular reason. When you're looking at speech online, how do you know if it's serious, political, hyperbole? This is insane. Notably, one group member asked, quote, when you are looking at speech online, how do you know if it is serious, political, or hyperbole? The Biden administration's historical approach, as evidenced by these documents and the DOJ's sentencing of Douglas Mackey to 7 months in prison for posting memes ahead of the 2016 election, is that speech online should be considered, quote, serious only when it comes from conservatives. That's right. All he did was retweet, I believe, a post that was like a Hillary hotline. To vote for Hillary, dial 82567 or whatever. Obviously a joke, but they put him in prison for it. As another data point later in the conversation, someone else again mentioned how, quote, efforts to collect, unquote, intelligence have noticeably changed post January 6th. It's like their Reichstag type event that they wanted to use to turn the apparatus inward. In response to the lawsuit, the Biden administration agreed to dissolve the experts group and turn over documents to America First Legal, which is now blowing the whistle. So they only shut down the experts group in response to America First Legal's lawsuit. Good job, America First Legal. That is some primo Paragon level work right there. And yet another participant noted that, quote, the, quote, support for the, unquote, mission set has changed post January 6th at the department level and has become political. Check out the rest of this article. Link will be in the description, detailing how they turned the system inward using J6 to justify supercharged surveillance of Trump supporters. Let's move on to our next topic, which also happens to be from Zero Hedge. A Minnesota dam is in rough condition right now, imminent failure condition. A century-old concrete gravity dam in the Blue Earth River in Rapidan Township near Rapidan, Minnesota, is in, quote, imminent failure condition. This has sparked concern about America's aging infrastructure. Oh, man. We're in so much danger. Civilization, when it becomes integrated and relies on systems that are spread across vast distances and centralized, the smallest thing can be a link that breaks the chain. We need all kinds of redundancies built into civilizational infrastructures, and we just don't have that. So our society is in danger of collapse from a small trigger, unfortunately. Quote, we do not know if it will totally fail or if it will remain in place. However, we determined it was necessary to issue this notification to advise downstream residents and the correct regulatory agencies and other local agencies. Blue Earth County Sheriff's Office wrote on Facebook. Rapidan Dam just short of Menacto, imminent failure condition. This video is surreal. Let's hop over to X. Take a look at this. Oh, this is so fucked up. I hate this, guys. I hate this. Just washed away the entire road. Millions and millions of gallons just erode. This is all fresh erosion over here. This whole area was just taken out. You can tell this just happened. Oh, man. The pressure over here from the water, how do you even stop it once it starts? We're in a rough shape, guys. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Railroads falling apart. East Palestine, still a problem. We got an update on that as well. Since we're talking about infrastructure issues, let's take a look at an update regarding the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment that occurred last year. Also from Zero Hedge. Chemicals from East Palestine train disaster spread to 16 states. But nobody wants to talk about it. None of the feds have any interest in protecting people from the insane cancer-causing dioxins and just horrible shit that they decided to just burn and release into the atmosphere to coat half the fucking country. Authored by Edward Carver via Common Dreams. Toxic chemicals released during the fires following the Norfolk Southern train derailment in Ohio last year spread to 16 states and likely Canada, according to a new study released Wednesday. The pollution, some of which came from the burning of vinyl chloride, a carcinogen, spread over 540,000 square miles, showing clearly that, quote, the impacts of the fire were larger in scale and scope than the initial predictions. Not my initial predictions. I said that this was going to be this bad when it happened. I didn't have a podcast at the time, so nobody heard me, but I did. You can take my word for it. I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. No, it's not even that. It's just basic logic. You got to be an idiot to listen to what these people tell you. Oh, it's totally safe, guys. Don't worry about it. You know, like Mars attacks. We come in peace. We come in peace. Lead author David Gray, coordinator of the National Atmospheric Deposition Program, said that he was very surprised by the way the chemicals had spread. Quote, I didn't expect to see an impact this far out. Are you fucking... We need a retard alert for this, because everybody should have expected it.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
So they have literal morons running big national programs. This guy was told the Washington Post, his name is Gay, too, so double whammy. Gay said the results did not mean, quote, death and destruction, as concentrations were low on an absolute scale, not melting steel or eating paint off buildings. Well, dioxins, you only need like a little particle, little tiny one little particle to give you cancer. But that they were still very extreme compared to normal. So make up your fucking mind. Is death and destruction are very extreme. This is a fucking total shit show. With measurements higher than recorded in the previous 10 years. Shocker. I think we should be concerned, Julianne Beyer, an expert on vinyl chloride effects who didn't take part in the study, told the Post, citing the possibility of long-term environmental impacts on communities. A Norfolk Southern train crashed in East Palestine, as we all remember. And the controlled burn just released all this shit into the atmosphere. So let's hop over and take a look at the map. Boom, we click on the link to the study at the top of the article. Widespread impacts to precipitation of the East Palestine, Ohio train accident. If it's an accident is another topic that can be debated as well. It's okay. We don't need article author information. We don't need the abstract. Let's check out the observations and discussion. That's where we want to go. And let's see if we can zoom and enhance this. Here we go. So 0 white dots. Anything else? Blue, black, green, orange, red. All of these blue dots are places that are affected by the dioxins, including us right here in Connecticut, Mama Mac. So, fuck. Everybody needs to be taking precautions. I don't know what you can do to protect yourself from dioxins, but yeah, you think that the dots just stop nice and neat along the border to Canada? No. Canada's infected too. This is a mass contamination event that's going to cause cancer to skyrocket, along with certain other forces that are at play, which are causing rises in cancer right now. We can expect massive rises in cancer, in my armchair physician opinion, This is another example of
It's pure evil!
Can't even let me finish the sentence there, Alex. How about hell no?
How about
Fucking
hell no?
evil. This is fucked up. So East Palestine, still a problem. Don't forget about it. Keep spreading the word. Yeah, Mama Mac. Dangerous situation. Let's hop over to Alex and discuss some interesting takes from the Supreme Court rulings last week that we didn't realize or really talk about it at the time, but on Friday night, people were starting to talk about this. So Supreme Court rules that Trump's New York conviction is unconstitutional. I saw people posting that one of the Supreme Court rulings that occurred last week was them deciding that convictions on individual charges need to be unanimous. And that's not what we saw happen with Trump. So this means that his conviction should be overturned. This is actually really huge, and it sucks we didn't cover it last week ahead of the curve. I found out on Friday night, like right after the broadcast ended. But let's hop in here with Joni Jonester and see what's going on.
So now the Supreme Court has ruled that juries must be unanimous on each criminal count. Trump's jury was not unanimous, writes Jack Posobiec in its findings, 444 on the underlying crime. This means conviction was directly unconstitutional and must be overturned.
I would be happier as someone who owns property in Manhattan.
Judge Judy coming out on our side.
If the district attorney of New York County would take care of criminals who are making it impossible for citizens to walk in the streets and use the subway, to use his efforts to keep those people off the street, than to spend $5 million or $10 million of taxpayers' money trying Donald Trump on this nonsense.
Boom. Oh, man. I've never really liked Judge Judy, but I'm not going to say I'm aroused, but I definitely like her now.
But I, as a taxpayer in this country, resent using the system for your own personal self-aggrandizement.
No way TV is covering this.
To you about what's happening now. InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next.
Boom.
Visit Infowars.com/show and share the link today.
Real quick before we get into the story, just a reminder that anybody that supports the broadcast will be automatically entered into our contest to win copies, one of two of our custom books produced by me. We have Thomas Paine's Common Sense, first edition revived, made from high-resolution copies of a January 1776 edition, first edition of Thomas Paine's Common Sense. Really cool. It's even got like library markings and stuff towards the end of it. Over here, like you can see down there from where this was stored. These images came from UPenn's Calenda digital library. So I tried to find the original dimensions of Common Sense, and I designed this to be the same dimensions that the original book was. And I took a lot of time to size everything to make the writing as large as possible to replicate the first edition copy of Common Sense as best as I possibly could with the limited information. Although I do know somebody who has a first edition signed copy of Thomas Paine's Common Sense, so maybe I could get access and measure it myself. But I'm not going to push the envelope with that. You could also win Common Sense Common Censored, our eponymous title, where I took that same book and just redacted the hell out of it, rendering all the substance impossible to derive. So this is a fun one. This is the ultimate free speech First Amendment coffee table gag book. Mama Mac, let me know which copy you want. Mama Mac is our winner for today. Mandy J. Lawson won last week. She wants a copy of First Edition Revived. So I'll be interested to hear what you want, Mama Mac. But if you guys want to enter the contest, there's a couple ways to do it. You can hop over. You can hit that big, beautiful join button on Rumble right below there. This is a subscriber drive to try to get subscribers for the show to make sure we can keep operating. Because I'm as broke as a joke. something. I'm sure there's more rhymes that could go after that, but I'm broke. I need money coming in. So we're doing a giveaway to try to get subscribers. If you like what we're doing, if you believe in the show and want us to continue, I encourage you to subscribe by hitting that big, beautiful join button on Rumble, or subscribing on Locals or Subscribestar. Locals is connected with Rumble, so if you hit join on Rumble, it'll do the same thing. You can also donate or tip via Cash App, Venmo, Google Pay. We also have all kinds of merch you guys can check out. My personal favorites are the Think for Yourself, Question Authority line of products, our mantra over here at Common Censored. We got tank tops, we got hoodies, we got everything you want. Think for Yourself, Question Authority. It's a head turner. It'll make people think. We also have other products that use our logos and stuff like this. And we have more stuff in the works. So I'm so poor, I can't even pay attention. That's a good one, Mama Mac. And yeah, it actually makes sense too, because if you're so broke you can't afford proper nutrition, your attention span will in fact be affected. So that's a really good one, Mama Mac. Thanks in advance for supporting the show. Rumble rants are also included. If you Rumble rant, if you tip via Venmo, Cash App, etc., everybody that participates and helps fund the broadcast will be included in the contest. So if you guys want to win a free book, the ultimate First Amendment free speech coffee table gag book, Common Censored, or a recreation of the first edition of Common Sense from January 1776, the book that changed America forever, the #1 best-selling American book for over 200 years, then make sure to join us. Join me, and together we will win 2024. So let's continue with the news and see what's going on over in the UK. Our next topic, coming from Concerned Citizen at B. Gates is a psycho. UK police traffic drones. A trial in southwest UK will see police drones deployed under the guise of, it's for your safety. Then they will be on all roads before inevitably making their way into towns and cities. You'll be surveilled 24/7 as you go about your digital online life. What a dystopian, spine-shuddering thought. Take a look at this. Let's zoom and enhance. Actually, de-zoom because it was zoomed too far in. Let's look at this video here.
The police are now using drones to catch dangerous drivers and speeding in the UK. The UK police are now using drones. These drones will be used to track a vehicle's speed and can be used as evidence against speeding, resulting in more fines.
And intrepid citizens are using buckshot to combat the drones.
As well as this, they can also be used to check a vehicle's insurance, MOT, and road tax status. Members of the public have addressed concerns that this could actually be an increased distraction to drivers. Currently, this is being trialled in Devon and Cornwall as a hopeful investment towards their goal to eliminate road fatalities caused by dangerous driving. And if successful, these drones will be implemented across the rest of the country. What do you think about this? Do you think it could be successful, or would it cause more harm than good?
I think fuck the UK. That's what I think. Let's move on. Ashton Forbes at Just X Ashton. Interesting story here. Rolls-Royce is promoting a portable thermonuclear fusion reactor. Something isn't right here. He says, this is wild, man. This is coming from Rolls-Royce themselves. Take a look at this. The Rolls-Royce micro-reactor will provide reliable, autonomous energy solutions to multiple markets, providing zero-emission power. Our advanced nuclear technologies support many global net zero targets, solving energy dependence across many industries. Are we about to see Rolls-Royce get nuked? Because they can't do this without the people trying to strangle unlimited energy production and stuff coming after them, right? Who knows? Let's take a look at this video. It looks like a digital, depiction of their design. Whiskey peddler, good to see you, cuz. Does that come with a flux capacitor? Whiskey asks. Yes, it does. Allegedly. Let's check out this video from Rolls-Royce showing their new micro thermonuclear fusion reactor module. They're going to use it for interstellar travel and crazy kind of shit. Donna, I don't have a PO box for mailing but I will share my address with you privately if you contact me via DM. I don't have money for a P.O. box yet, but once we get enough subscribers, I'll set up a P.O. box or something like that. Yeah, so hit me up via Discord. Make sure to join our Discord or via X, and I'll share that information with you. Let's check out this video from Rolls-Royce.
Scalable with multi-domain applicability. The microreactor uses an inherently safe and robust fuel form able to withstand the most extreme conditions. A graphite core structure constrains the fuel particles and transfers the heat away from the fuel to the power conversion system. Innovative heat exchanger technology enables the microreactor to be as efficient and lightweight as possible.
Oh, cool, Donna. I'll look into it
Vital
then.
for use in space. Here, the heat from the core is converted into electricity. The science and innovation of the micro...
So heat is converted to electricity, so it's basically a Stirling engine. If you guys don't know what Stirling engines are, that's what they do. They operate off of heat.
Reactor and innovation. The science and innovation of the microreactor offers endless opportunities. Because when the power to deliver and the power to explore combine, new horizons are reached.
Wow, so that's pretty epic. Future space age is now. Let's take a look over at Wikipedia real quick. At Stirling engine, I don't know if you guys can see this. There it goes. Zoom in so it's not hidden by the brand tag logo. Stirling engine is a heat engine that is operated by the cyclic expansion and contraction of air or other gas, the working fluid, by exposing it to different temperatures. And yes, they spell Stirling like me, with 2 I's. Although George Washington often misspelled it like sterling silver, 925. That these precious metal, so it's okay if people misspell it. It's not very common. It's a Scottish. Someday we're gonna retake Stirling Castle, launch an invasion of Scotland under my leadership. We're gonna retake Stirling Castle, guys. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, this is not a regular old Stirling engine, and they're using fusion to create heat, which is wild, but pretty cool. What does Gator have over here? Gator, Lord Tardy finally broke down and set up a date on one of those dating sites. Cameras caught him when he, quote, met her at the lake. Let's see. Did they get me? They got me? Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's my date. Look at that booty, man. That is the face of pure beauty. We're set to be married, guys. If a Vlad didn't go broke, you're pushed back in line, apparently. It's brutal. Oh, man. Let's hop into another crazy tech story off the back of the Rolls-Royce micro thermonuclear reactor, fusion reactor shit. We have World Economic Forum information. Brain sensors are already in all kinds of devices. Apparently, this is not a number. Posting on X at my hidden value. Let's check out this craziness. Apparently, brain sensors are already being integrated into all kinds of devices. Yeah, Donna, all kinds of implants on that chick. I've seen videos of her or one video of her before where she's saying, you know, that this is her ideal of beauty aesthetic. So don't judge her because she likes it. So let's check out this. Yeah, literally fake everything. Gross, says Wile E. Coyote. Mama Mac, really? What did I say? All right, let's check out this clip from WEF about brain sensors being put into all kinds of devices.
Wearable devices. So these are brain sensors that are starting to be embedded in everyday devices, but until now have been a number of niche companies that really have focused on mindfulness and meditation. The use of, for example, brain sensors that can pick up electrical activity in the brain at a pretty low resolution, but advances in AI have both improved what the signal is that can come from the brain and enabled the miniaturization of those products.
And then you combine it with those patents that we saw for directed energy weapons / targeted individual patents over on the UN website. And they can probably use these sensors to, you know, a lot of times receivers are also transmitters. So they can probably use these sensors to transmit things into your brain, manipulate your emotions, manipulate your feelings towards people, implant voices into your head. If you think that sounds far-fetched, check out the video on our Rumble channel, DEW Patents, live on the UN website. On our show a couple Fridays ago, we went live to the UN website, scrolled through the patents, read what their descriptions are. They list the patent numbers, the people who developed it, and descriptions of the technology. It's madness.
As a lot of the major tech companies start to invest in these brain sensors, it's a huge, I think, untapped market in many ways.
Oh, it was sarcastic, Mama Mac. it was look at that big old juicy booty. That's from some movie.
Ways of integrating them into everyday devices. These are earbuds or watches or headphones and the soft cups around the ears. Many of those products are hitting the market this year, and others are hitting them within the next 2 years, such that people can listen to music, a phone call, etc., while having those devices in ears. Initially, what they will be capable of doing is very high-level brain state reading. Things like, are you tired? Are you paying attention? Is your mind wandering? Are you happy or sad? They maybe enable interaction like up, down, left, right for interaction with other technologies. And they're being embedded into things like virtual reality headsets.
Super, super sketchy. So my bet is that these not only will be sensors, but also transmitters to manipulate people. I think it's probably pretty likely. Horrifying thought. Speaking of horrifying brain devices, let's check out this next story. Mario Nafal posting this over on X. Mario Nafal at Mario Naufal. World's first living computer runs on 16 lab-grown brains. And we know it's not actually the first living computer because we discussed fungi, mushroom living computers a couple months ago in a different episode. But we have here Swiss firm Final Spark launched Neuro platform using 16 lab-grown brain organoids for computational tasks, consuming 1 million times less power than silicon chips. Cylon technology, basically, if you've ever watched Battlestar Galactica. Living machines, living calculating machines. This system integrates hardware, software, and biology using multi-electrode arrays, MEAs, to process data. The organoids now last 100 days, a significant improvement. Neuro platform is available for research at $500 per user per month, moving towards creating the world's first living processor. Sources: Tom's Hardware. Now this on IG. Let's check out this video over here. We'll zoom and enhance, restart at the beginning.
16 lab-grown human brains make up the world's first living computer. What the f***? The startup behind the biocomputer, Final Spark, says it uses 1 million times less power than a digital computer processor. Final Spark even launched an online neuro platform so researchers can conduct experiments with the computer remotely through a server right now. The reason they're able to create a biocomputer is because of organoids, which are simplified mini versions of real organs, a fairly new technology often used for medical research. Organoids are made in a dish using cells from a living organism that can grow to mimic the forms and functions of an organ. So by taking cells from a human human brain, this team of researchers is able to create mini brains that they can use for computing. And there's even a system that provides food and water to the cells to keep them alive, but only for around 100 days. Final Spark claims the bioprocessors they're making consume 1 million times less power than traditional digital processors. With the rise of AI, researchers are searching for ways to cut back on energy consumption to protect the climate and our infrastructure. According to technological research and consulting firm Gartner, AI is predicted to consume 3.5% of global electricity by 2030. That's more electricity than the entire country of Germany uses right now. But the
Boom, Mama Mac. This is an amazing, amazing comment. This shows us the potential of the human brain. So how do we access the rest of our brains that we're not using? Well, according to the cycle of the yugas taught by ancient Indians as fact, our sun has a binary solar companion, a brown dwarf star with light that's not in the visible spectrum, so we can't see it. But we're constantly orbiting our sun around this other star. And so the theory is that during this orbit, we reach a point called the golden age, where humans have full capabilities of being able to use our brains, and we build amazing stuff, and we do all kinds of really cool stuff, like build the pyramids and have advanced technology. But then we get closer to the brown dwarf again, and our brains start diminishing in capacity. We use like 11% something right now. So it's possible that the radiation, the cosmic radiation resulting from the combination of our own sun's radiation with the brown dwarf, as we approach it, that increased radiation may inhibit our ability to use our brains to the fullest extent. So it's possible. Omega Directive, good to see you. So it's possible that the further away we get from our binary companion star, the better our brains get, basically. And if we do not have a binary companion star, we would be the only star known in the galaxy that does not have at least one companion star. So my bet is that the Indians are right. Dots, not feathers. And that we do have a binary companion star that's off in deep space, relatively close, that our sun is orbiting around, which is kind of a cool thing. Omega Directive says, so isn't this a new form of slavery? Yeah, it could be. It depends on how, if the brains are capable of consciousness or not. If they're just like little sections of brains that don't have consciousness, then it would not necessarily be slavery. But what if the brains could start thinking on their own and manipulating the outputs of the calculations that you're putting into them? That's a kind of scary thought. But it also could be a slavery type situation, like how they we watched that video, The Ethics of Bioengineering, with Paul Root Wolpe, where he discusses how they implant fly larvae with microchips, and then as the flies develop, the microchips integrate into their biological systems, and you can actually use an Xbox controller like this one here, nerd, to fly flies around. You're taking over the autonomy of a living entity. There are ethical implications and questions about that. So yeah, it could be a new form of slavery. Omega.
Human brain only uses a tiny fraction of the energy of a digital computer, making it a viable solution for AI's energy problem. But why does this make me feel bad for the organoid brains? Will they get depressed? What if they gain consciousness? This practice definitely raises ethical questions. There isn't much evidence the brains could become conscious, but the research is too new to know for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, and if you guys want to see the presentation that I'm talking about here, let me hop over to PooTube real quick and show you what I'm talking about. Ethics of Bioengineering, Paul Root Wolpe. It's a TED Talk that was given. Here we go. It's time to question bioengineering with Paul Root Wolpe. We'll watch a couple seconds of this. I've played it before, but for new viewers, this is probably pretty interesting information. All their sound is in the left channel. It's so annoying. TED Talks. You're supposed to be smart and you have like a shit audio producer.
Today I want to talk about design, but not design as we usually think about it. I want to talk
Shoemaker!
about what's happening
Good to see
now
you.
in our
Thanks for being here.
scientific, biotechnological culture, where for really the first time in history, we have the power to design bodies, to design animal bodies, to design human bodies. In the history of our planet, there have been 3 great waves of evolution.
That would be the craziest headline ever. I can see it now. Organoid brain escapes lab and destroys Detroit. That's fucking awesome, dude.
The first wave of evolution is what we think of as Darwinian evolution. So,
Right,
as you all know, species lived in particular ecological niches, in particular environments, and the pressures of those environments selected which changes through random mutations in species were going to be preserved. Then human beings stepped out of the Darwinian flow of evolutionary history and created the second great wave of evolution, which was we changed the environment in which we evolved. We altered our ecological niche by creating civilization. And that has been the second great couple 100,000 years, 150,000 year flow of our evolution. By changing our environment, we put new pressures on our bodies to evolve, whether it was through settling down in agricultural communities, all the way through modern medicine. We have changed our own evolution. Now we're entering a third great wave of evolutionary history, which has been called many things: intentional evolution, evolution by
Directed
design,
evolution.
very different than intelligent design, whereby we are actually now intentionally designing and altering the physiological forms that inhabit our planet. So I want to take you through a kind of whirlwind tour of that, and then at the end talk a little bit about what some of the implications are for us and for our species as well as our cultures because of this change. Now, we actually have been doing it for a long time. We started selectively breeding animals many thousands of years ago. And if you think of dogs, for example, dogs are now intentionally designed creatures. There isn't a dog on this earth that's a natural creature. Dogs are the result of selectively breeding traits that we like. But we had to do it the hard way in the old days by choosing offspring that looked a particular way and then breeding them. We don't have to do it that way anymore. This is a beefalo. A beefalo is a buffalo cattle hybrid. And they are now making them, and someday, perhaps pretty soon, you will have beefalo patties in your local supermarket. This is a geep, a goat-sheep hybrid. The scientists that made this cute little creature ended up slaughtering it and eating it afterwards. I think they said it tastes like chicken. This is a kama. A kama is a camel-llama hybrid, created to try to get the hardiness of a camel with some of the personality traits of a llama, and they are now using these in certain cultures. Then there's the liger. This is the largest cat in the world, the lion-tiger hybrid. It's bigger than a tiger. And in the case of the liger, there actually have been 1 or 2 that have been seen in the wild. But these were created by scientists using both selective breeding and genetic technology. And then finally, everybody's favorite, the zorse. None of this is photoshopped. These are real creatures. And so one of the things we have been doing is using genetic enhancement or genetic manipulation of sort of normal selective breeding pushed a little bit through genetics. And if that were all this was about,
Zorses, guys,
that would be an
zorses.
interesting thing. But something much more powerful is happening now. These are normal mammalian cells, genetically engineered with a bioluminescent gene taken out of deep-sea jellyfish. We all know that some deep-sea creatures glow. Well, they've now taken that gene, that bioluminescent gene, and put it into mammal cells. These are normal cells.
I have a whole scene in the Core Saga, my book series, where they're exploring deep down underneath the Earth's crust, inside the Earth's crust, and they come upon this cavern with all kinds of crazy bioluminescent life. It's pretty cool.
Cells, and what you see here is these cells glowing in the dark under certain wavelengths of light. Once they could do that with cells, they could do it with organisms. So they did it with mouse pups, kittens. And by the way, the reason the kittens here are orange and these are green is because that's a bioluminescent gene from coral, while this is from jellyfish.
Let's skip ahead a little.
Creature is an age.
This is what I was talking about with implanting microchips into the larvae.
How to solve. This lovely creature is an Asian cockroach, and what they've done here is they've put electrodes in its ganglia and its brain.
At least he's blowing the whistle on this stuff, though.
On top, and it's on a big computer tracking ball. And now using a joystick, they can send this creature around the lab and control whether it goes left or right, forward or backwards. They've created a kind of insect bot or bug.
So there's ethical implications, like Omega Directive mentioned, effectively enslaving living organisms and overriding the autonomy of their bodies technologically. Pretty scary stuff.
Bot. It gets worse than that, or perhaps better than that. This actually is one of DARPA's very important. DARPA is the Defense Research Agency, one of their projects. These Goliath beetles are wired in their wings. They have a computer chip strapped to their backs, and they can fly these creatures around the lab. They can make them go left, right. They can make them take off. They can't actually make them land. They put them about 1 inch above the ground, and then they shut everything off, and they go boom. But it's as close as they can get to a landing. And in fact, this technology has gotten so developed that this creature, this is a moth. This is the moth in its pupa stage, and that's when they put the wires in
pupa
and they
stage,
put
okay.
the computer
Same as larva?
technology, so that when the moth is actually emerges as a moth, it is already pre-wired. The wires are already in its body, and they can just hook it up to their technology, and now they've got these bug bots that they can send out for surveillance. They can put little cameras on them, and perhaps someday delivering other kinds of ordnance.
Payloads. Ordnance, that's terrifying. Exactly, Omega Directive. We need roach reparations in 2124. Hilarious. Let's check out this part where they hook up a monkey to a machine, and the monkey uses the force and is able to control an arm in another room, a robotic arm using its brain in another room by watching on a TV screen.
Functional arms. That monkey became he was moving it and moved the monkey.
Okay,
the
here we
monkeys
go.
to move its arm.
Skipped a little bit too far ahead. Here we go.
There's also been work done with monkeys. This is Miguel Nicolelis Duke. He took owl monkeys, wired them up so that a computer watched their brains while they moved, especially looking at the movement of their right arm. The computer learned what the monkey brain did to move its arm in various ways. They then hooked it up to a prosthetic arm, which you see here in the picture, put the arm in another room. Pretty soon the computer learned, by reading the monkey's brain waves, to make that arm in the other room do whatever the monkey's arm did. Then he put a video monitor in the monkey's cage that showed the monkey this prosthetic arm, and the monkey got fascinated. The monkey recognized that whatever she did with her arm, this prosthetic arm would do. And eventually, she was moving it, and eventually stopped moving her right arm, and staring at the screen, could move the prosthetic arm in the other room only with her brain waves. Which
boom, crazy.
That monkey became the first primate in history of the world to have 3 independent functional arms.
Unless there was some mutated monkey, which is possible. First known monkey in the world to have that capacity. Gator bringing us breaking sad news. Very, very sad news for all the people who said that this wasn't really happening. It's happening. Apparently, developing bankruptcy trustee to shut down InfoWars, liquidate its assets to pay Sandy Hook families. This makes me fucking enraged. A bankruptcy trustee on Sunday filed an emergency motion to shut down InfoWars and Alex Jones' parent company, Free Speech Systems, and liquidate its assets to pay the Sandy Hook families. Wouldn't it make more sense to keep the money coming? These people are, they just want to shut him down. And he didn't even get a jury trial. Earlier this month, a federal judge ordered the liquidation of assets, Jones's personal assets, which he had already been doing. So it not really a new development. Judge Christopher Lopez approved Alex Jones' request to convert a Chapter 11 business reorganization bankruptcy into a Chapter 7 personal bankruptcy. However, a couple weeks ago, the judge dismissed the bankruptcy reorganization of InfoWars and its parent company, Free Speech Systems. Legal experts said the Sandy Hook families could go back to the bankruptcy court and demand Alex Jones liquidate his company to pay off the Sandy Hook debt. This is Christina Layla writing over at the Gateway Pundit. Thanks again, Gator, for sharing this story. On Sunday, the bankruptcy trustee said he intends to conduct an, quote, orderly wind down of Alex Jones's media company. The New York Post reported in an, quote, emergency motion filed Sunday in Houston, trustee Christopher Murray, guarantee you CIA connections or something, indicated, or maybe FBI, but we did see that sound investigations, undercover video capture showing the CIA guy talking about how this was all orchestrated by the CIA, that they contacted the Sandy Hook families and suggested a civil lawsuit, etc. Jones, of course, denied a jury trial, gave millions of documents in discovery, but the judge said, oh, you didn't participate. You didn't give us these specific documents that we wanted, which don't even exist. And so he just default judged Alex, prevented the jury from even being able to have a say in whether he was guilty or not, unconstitutionally. And now they're getting shut down, apparently. So, New York Post reported emergency motion filed Sunday. Christopher Murray indicated publicly for the first time that he intends to conduct an orderly wind down of the operations of the InfoWars parent company and liquidate its inventory. Murray, who was appointed by a federal judge to oversee the assets in Jones' personal bankruptcy case, did not give a timetable for the liquidation. Jones has been saying on his web and radio shows that he expects InfoWars to operate for a few more months before it's shut down because of the bankruptcy. Murray also asked U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez to put an immediate hold on the Sandy Hook family's efforts to collect the massive amount Jones owes them. Murray said those efforts would interfere with his plans to close the parent company, Free Speech Systems in Austin, Texas, and sell off its assets, with much of the proceeds going to the families. In December 2022, Alex Jones filed for personal bankruptcy protection in a Texas court after the Sandy Hook verdict. Connecticut judge previously ordered Alex Jones to pay an additional $473 million to Sandy Hook families, Reuters reported. This is in addition to the $1 billion Jones was ordered to pay for questioning the Sandy Hook shooting. He didn't defame anybody. He didn't send people to harass the families. It's all bullshit. Highly frustrating, the weaponization. But this is like a Obi-Wan Kenobi type moment for Alex Jones. Like in episode 4 of Star Wars A New Hope, when Darth Vader senses Obi-Wan's presence. I've sensed something, a presence I've not felt since. And he walks off and he meets up with Obi-Wan. When last we met, you were the master and I was the learner. Now I am the master. Only a master of evil, Darth. If you strike me down now, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. And he stands down, lets Darth Vader strike the killing blow, and transcends into a godlike force entity. Not godlike, but at least a force entity, like a ghost or something. And this is the same thing that's going to happen here. You strike down InfoWars, it's only going to, with the Streisand effect, make people more people put their eyes on Alex. I don't know if you guys remember the Streisand effect, but I saw Jones was actually talking about it earlier in like late 90s, early 2000s, something like this. Barbara Streisand was mad that there were reporters taking pictures of her Oceanside mansion. And so she made a big stink about trying to stop people to stop taking pictures. And all that did was draw more eyes and attention to her mansion. And it became like a big thing where everybody was trying to take pictures of it. So this is the same thing. You try to shut down people telling the truth, telling people information that you don't want to get out. It's only going to draw more eyes. So this seems like a loss. but it's probably a win overall, as it will only elevate Jones and his compadres to the next level. So, but this is offset by some great news from Cheddar Steve. Hey everyone, I got engaged, Cheddar Steve says. Cheddar Steve, that is great news. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, my friend. Wishing you and your fiance the absolute best, happiest marriage imaginable. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. That's great. So it's not all bad stuff. It's happening. We still have love and wonder and beauty and joy, even in the midst of horrible things that are happening. So remember, there's always something worth living for, worth seeking, worth experiencing. So don't lose hope. In fact, be hopeful, because every door that closes, there are other doors that open up and new opportunities that are made. So even as they implode our country, and there will be suffering, there will be loss, but there will be more opportunities that come from the collapse. Cheddar Steve says, yeah, and the cool thing is the diamond came with a certificate of authenticity. 3 small African children were killed in the mining of this diamond. I don't mean to laugh. It's just, absurd. I guess it's a blood diamond. Sounds like it, Steve. Congratulations. If you're being serious about the engagement, congratulations, man. Sincerely, that's great news. Happy for you. So let's jump over to our next topic. And I wonder if there are any videos about this. Actually, let's go over to banned.video and see if Alex has released anything about this.
I mean, this is total.
Talking about it. Let's see. World War III watch. Russia vows revenge. Support pro-human businesses. Breaking documents show government knew. Can't talk about that on YouTube. Video. Bill Gates appeal treatment turns. Oh man, this is interesting. So this could be an answer to the fruit thing we've been talking about with weird rubber-like fruits. I don't see Jones over here posting anything yet about this new development on banned.video. If anybody wants other information, please send it over. Let's hop over to this Bill Gates appeal treatment and talk about some of the fruits. Let's see. I have some other stuff. Okay, here we go. Leading into this video, I'll show you guys some clips of the fruits in question. Here we go. Boom. All right, bringing this one up on screen for you guys. Jessica Rojas says, at Cats Scare Me 2021, posting this video, has appeal made it to a grocery store near you? Take a look at this. This is a compilation of some of the crazy, horrible, disgusting, scary fruits and stuff. Look at this. This is crazy. What is happening with these fruits and vegetables? This lady asked.
Are Costco and Whole Foods selling fake fruits? I've been hearing about this, but check out what's happening to these people.
When she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue.
Like, it's not even breaking, like, at all. Like, it, and I know you guys can't feel the texture, Avi, right, because it's a video, but, like, it literally feels fake.
Those of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one.
We had talked about the watermelon, but I was unable to find a clip on demand of the watermelon. So here we go with some of the watermelon.
I got a rubbery watermelon. The texture is so weird. Like,
you rock, Donna.
But there's a clinking, and it sounds like something's stuck. So I go in the drain. And
sounds awesome. Thanks.
Blueberry that's not breaking apart. It's not doing anything. It's what's making the noise. And I pick it up, and
thanks, Donna. Love you.
Why is there a rubber blueberry in my toddler's snack? This came from the carton of blueberries. My husband cut it in half. I really don't know if you can see it that well. Glistening, it's silicone. It's a silicone blueberry. It is a solid rubber blueberry. She is under 2. I got this at Whole Foods also.
Whole Foods.
Organic. I was trying to, like, you know,
do the
right thing.
So fucked up. So fucked up. We have watermelons. They're peeling. This is Wall Street Apes over here posting this one. Food in America just gets worse and worse. So I got this watermelon at Walmart, and I like to rinse my watermelon before I cut it. Does anybody have problems with their watermelons like this? The fucking skin is peeling off. This is not a watermelon. This is some kind of genetic modified I don't even know, hybrid mutant freak over here. The watermelon rind is peeling like paper mache. The FDA is worthless. This is fake food. Take a look at this. Judge for yourself. This is fucked.
So I got this watermelon at Walmart, and I like to rinse my watermelon before I cut it, and it's like peeling. Does anybody has problems with their watermelon like this?
What the fuck, man? Yeah, exactly, Cheddar. Wild man, Cheddar Steve. Woof. Woof. So let's hop over here to the InfoWars coverage of this. Apparently it's Bill Gates' appeal treatment that's doing this, allegedly. Let's zoom and enhance for your viewing pleasure. Although this is not pleasurable. I'm going to put the Hurl Cam up on screen for this one. Do I have the Hurl Cam on this particular screen? I don't know. I can't find it. Anyway, let's just check it out.
Are Costco and Whole Foods selling fake fruits?
Oh, look,
I've been hearing about this, but check out what's happening to these people.
All right, let's skip ahead since we know what's going on here.
I can't believe it. There's a blueberry that's annoying. This came from, I really don't know if you can see it that well. Blueberry.
Oh, fucked up, man. So fucked up.
Now I want to hit this next video and go back to your call.
Cherish InfoWars while we have it, guys.
Joe Rogan sent this to me this morning. He said, is this real? And I said, yeah. Appeal is this covering they spray on fruit and vegetables that Bill Gates owns that literally puts it into cryonic freeze. So it lasts 3 times longer, but it does something weird to it because fruit and vegetables breathe. So people have been opening up Appeal bananas and they're like rubber or avocados. And people are like, what is this? So this is what they're bombing us with.
That's right.
You will eat bug.
Omega directive. Think for authority. Question yourself. It's just normal. Don't worry about it. You're the man, Omega.
All this is anti-human. They want to scramble things so bad. They're assaulting us through the injections, through the air, through the 5G, through the GMO. Here's the clip.
Are Costco and Whole Foods selling fake fruit?
I got you the right
overhead shot. Folks, this is not human. Overhead shot. As Appeal made it to grocery stores.
Not naturally. I mean, plants are not humans. We are aware. Not natural. I'm sure that's what he meant.
You? Appeal Science, Wikipedia. Meat Appeal, the new addictive poisoning our produce.
Additive.
The new additive poisoning our produce. Everything you know about Appeal.
Wow. So we have the answer
what
now.
You need to know is it turns the food, just like McDonald's products, you put them under glass for 2 years, they don't rot. Bill Gates backed Appeal
You don't even
Science.
need to put them under glass. You can just let them sit out. They don't even need to be protected. They don't rot. It's fucking disgusting, man. Animals don't eat them. Bugs don't eat them.
Fruit, avocados last longer. Yeah, because they're dead. That's 2018, folks. That's 6 years ago. Kroger first to take Appeal produce coast to coast. Unpacking the pros and cons of Appeal produce. I mean, this is crazy. You're like, yeah, it's an assault. Appeal food additive is safe. Health authorities say, just like the shot was, Appeal goes more then skin deep with new tech offerings. Appeal, a fruitful innovation, unpacking the pros and cons. So here is a food researcher.
Bill Gates needs to be arrested. This is fucked up. You can't be feeding rubber berries to babies, okay? This is just beyond the pale.
I looked this up. It's all true. I did about an hour research today on just the potatoes and the supposed fries from McDonald's, which Bill Gates is one of the main owners of. It's not even potato. Here it is.
Should you eat McDonald's French fries even once in a while? After you hear this, I think you'll say no. First of all, you can see how perfectly white they are because they allow no blemish in their potatoes. And how they accomplish that? They spray it with one of the most toxic pesticides on the planet. After the farmer sprays it, he can't be in the field for 5 days. Oh, after they harvest them, it has to go in a special atmosphere-controlled environment for 6 weeks. That's how toxic it is. It's not safe to eat. Guess how many ingredients I found in this? Oh, not one, potatoes. Potatoes are one of the 11 that I found, but I had to write them down. Vegetable oil, which consists of soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil.
Good one, Donna. Appeal doesn't sound appealing. What does this crap do to our body? Exactly. Great comment.
Which are horrible for you, by the way. Natural beef flavors, not so natural. It's hydrolyzed wheat and hydrolyzed milk. Horrible for you. Wheat, milk derivatives, dextrose, sodium, acid, and pyrophosphate and salt. 11 plus ingredients and a load of chemicals. I don't suggest it.
Let's go ahead and go to Bikini Truther in Nevada. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Boom. Super sketchy. Gator just posted this in the comments as well. Spray on coating for fruits and vegetables. January 6, 2023. Analysis by Richard Smoley. One recent development in the packaging revolution: spray on coating for fruits and vegetables. This is fucking insane. Scientists from Rutgers and Harvard are next on the chopping block for prosecution. Universities have developed a biodegradable spray-on wrapper. Its main ingredient is pullulan, an edible fiber that the Food and Drug Administration lists as, quote, generally recognized as safe. Quote, the mixture of the biodegradable polymer and non-toxic solvents can be rinsed off with water, reports Amelia Keller on the website Food Tank. Initial results have been promising. The spray reduced common foodborne pathogens like E. coli and Listeria. It also increased shelf life. Avocados, which we saw are rubber now, with the coating were less likely to rot, reports Scientific American. Around 50% of treated avocados spoiled within a week, as opposed to the 90% of avocados that were not treated. The treated fruit was also more likely to stay green inside. Isn't it like keeping them exposed to nitrogen that keeps them preserved? How about you just fucking shrink wrap every little fruit with a healthy dose of nitrogen in there to keep them from, instead of spraying on this fucking disgusting weirdness. Not to sound crass, but I wonder what would happen if you sprayed some on one's penis. Ask the Hawk-Tua girl. Oh, man. Spray-on product is still in developmental stages, so maybe this isn't even the same one as Appeal. Looks like it could be different. No less sketchy, though. We do have a video about when the Hawk-Tua girl meets a liberal man. Let's see what this is all about. Oh, God. Can I show this? Okay, yeah, I can show it. Good one, Gator. That's fucking hilarious. So brutal. Oh, man, we need a retard alert for that one, too. Big time.
Retard alert, class.
Total retard alert. Two retards alerts.
Retard.
No. Oh, man. This is real life, guys. This is real life. And if all of that crap isn't gross enough with Appeal and these edible weirdo coatings, this is pretty gross. Oh, look, Amazon is now selling camel toe underwear for delusional men. Brand. Tazardine. This is from I Meme, Therefore I Am, at I'm Meme 0. All right, guys, it's over. The universe is over. We've reached the tipping point. We have officially jumped the shark, Fonzie style, hiding gaff, panty-shaping pant, brief for cross-dresser, cross-dressing transgender for men. Oh my God. This is beyond... It's beyond okay. It's gross. It's wrong. It's just wrong, guys. Screw you guys. I'm going home. That's all of the sane people in the Cartman voice, Mama Mac. If you're going to spew, Mama Mac, spew into this.
If you're gonna spew into this.
Fucking hell. This is so brutal. So brutal. Oh, man.
If you can act hysterical, I'm going to slap you like I'm Connery.
And by acting hysterical, I mean creating crazy inventions like this. We should slap whoever made this like we're Connery. Oh, God, man. It's hard to fathom that this is actually the real world. Nonetheless, here we are. Here we are indeed. Let's hop back over to the Gateway Pundit. Biden DOJ official hit with criminal referral. Ethics complaints and bar complaints for lying under oath about previous arrest for stabbing her then husband. This is the caliber individual being attracted by the Biden DOJ. Christina Layla, she's on point today, huh? Biden DOJ official Kristen Clark was hit with a DOJ criminal referral, ethics complaints, and bar complaints for lying under oath about a previous arrest, which was expunged from her record. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Division Kristen Clark in 2021 falsely testified to the Senate that she had never been arrested. Clark was previously arrested for attacking her then husband with a knife and slicing his finger to the bone, Liz Crokin style, a court who seemed to have been sliced up by somebody. According to court documents obtained by the Daily Signal, earlier this year, Clark admitted she lied during her Senate confirmation hearing. Quote, "Nearly 2 decades ago, I was subjected to years-long abuse and domestic violence at the hands of my ex-husband," she said. In a statement to Communist News Network, quote, "This was a terrorizing and traumatizing period that I have sought to put behind me to promote my personal health, healing, and well-being. The physical and emotional scars, the emotional abuse and exploitation, and the lying are things that no woman or mother should ever have to endure." Craziness. So if you're interested in that, check out rest of the article. Let's hop over to Black conservative perspective on X, who had another diversity hire horror story from down in Georgia. Let's see, where is it? We have, oh man, this story is wild. We have the Tiffany Henyard of judges down in Georgia. Take a look at this. She was busted for attacking a police officer and claimed that it was lies. She was just trying to protect some lady that was being attacked, but now we have footage of the actual encounter.
Did you want to take a break? But when Peterson took the stand again last week, her biggest complaint was not being appreciated for making judicial history in Douglas County.
I'm the first African-American female and Democrat. Yes.
Any publications that you're aware of that ever acknowledge?
Who gives a fuck if you're the first African-American female? It doesn't fucking matter. You're just a person. You don't get special points for being black. And like, these people are so racist and disgusting. It's revolting.
Fat.
I was never celebrated or congratulated. On my day of swearing in, I was sworn in by Judge Emerson. I received my first JQC complaint.
Several months later.
Probate Judge Christina Peterson is out of jail on bond, but facing a felony charge. 11 Elizabeth Beth Yates joining us outside the Red Martini Club in Buckhead, where Peterson was arrested early Thursday morning.
So many men out there, and the only person that helped was a woman.
Love says a man attacked her, and the only person who came to her aid was Douglas County Probate Judge Christina Peterson. And the same details are being echoed by another witness.
Focus is not the judge. The focus is the fact that this man attacked my friend.
Still, it was Peterson who was arrested and charged with a felony. This is Peterson's mugshot after being accused of assaulting an...
She definitely does not look like Gollum from Lord of the Rings at all there.
Atlanta police officer. She is since bonded out of jail, and now her attorney, Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington, says she was wrongfully arrested.
The fiance of the judge's friend and another person are all eyewitnesses that will confirm what both the young lady who was being assaulted said and what her friend said, is that the judge had nothing to do, and they let the young man who was assaulting the lady go.
If you buy that, I've got a bridge to Hawaii from New York to sell you.
Zurdos de mierda.
Fucking shit leftards.
Arrington is calling for the charges to be dropped.
Judge did nothing more than try to help.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a bombshell story out in Georgia. Maybe some of you guys have already heard about this story because it is blowing up due to the fact that it seems as if we have another first black woman something that's in a position that she probably should not have been in. But you have people who are in some of these more liberal areas that are voting for people based off skin color, race, gender, sexuality, things that don't have to do with actual qualifications. And then lo and behold, you get an individual that not only is incompetent, but also corrupt. Okay. And that
highly corrupt
describes this story about Judge Christina Pearson, who is operating out in Douglas County, Georgia.
She was straight up paying herself with fines that she was collecting from people in court. Look at this.
People that came before her deciding that, hey, you know what? I'm not going to collect all these fees and give them to myself. That's probably not the right thing to do.
I'm looking for fairness across the board.
Then there is her salary. Because previous probate judge Hal Hamrick was not an attorney, and she is, Douglas County commissioners agreed with Peterson that she deserved an additional $36,000 supplement to her state pay. For the first-year judge, that made her salary $127,000 this year. Ann Jones-Geider voted no.
I said, why are you giving her a supplement? And they said, because we give it to the other judges. I said, the other judges don't make fees.
Most metro counties cap the vital records fee.
Holy crap, we got breaking video from Walmart. Gator just posted. What the fuck is going on with this Gator? What is I don't know what to think, man. I don't know what to think. What is going on here?
Cash Money Records
back that ass up.
99 in the 2000. Girl, you working with some bag, yeah. This bag, yeah. Make it wanna spend his cash, yeah. This last, yeah, girl.
Oh, man. This is nuts.
The vital records fees their probate judge can keep. Douglas County does not. Hamrick chose to take half of only the death certificate fees, bumping his overall pay to around $110,000 each year. Peterson decided to keep all the fees, both birth and death certificates. This year, combined with that increased salary, she's projected to make around $280,000.
Damn. Let's jump over to the follow-up where footage of the judge before and after being arrested has now been released, showing her threatening the police. This is nuts.
So many men out there, and the only person that helped was a woman.
Love says a man attacked her, and
This is
the
not
only
the judge,
person who
this is
came to
the
her aid was
other
Douglas
person.
County probate judge Christina Peterson. And the same details are being echoed by another witness.
Focus is not the judge. The focus is the fact that this man attacked my friend.
For the charges to be dropped.
Judge did nothing more than try to help.
Meanwhile,
The last person that ever tried me like this died 30 days later. I pray for you.
Regardless, wise, where I be in here with Young Thug, I ain't Woody.
Yeah.
Last person that tried this on me died 30 days later. Wow. Wow. Crazy. Let's move on to our next topic. Craziness. We have the Rubber Duck at the Rubber Duck 79 reporting this. There was some kind of stuff that was going on with Boeing launching this and stranding astronauts in space or something. I didn't really hear the full story, but look at this. Watch a safety window literally pop out and fall off of the Boeing Starliner capsule on its way to the launch pad. So it's cruising along over here. And then, boop, the window falls off. That thing could totally last in space. Ha, zap! Thanks. Thanks, bro. $1 for each cheek on that lady at Walmart. Yeah. Thanks, man. You are in the contest. So I wish you luck winning a copy of one of our books. But if the window pops out like that, you think the vacuum of space, you think it's going to hold up with the vacuum trying to suck everything outwards? I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's not good. Not a good situation to be in. Boeing is super, super sketchy. More DEI stuff in that whole situation as well. Just hire whoever's the best, okay? Don't worry about race quotas and stuff like that. Let's move on to our next company. We have a big story coming out of Texas. As a logistics company with 500 truck drivers abruptly ceases operations. This is not good. About 2,000 truck drivers, warehouse and dock workers, and office personnel of humble Texas-based U.S. Logistics Solutions, USLS, formerly called Forward Air Solutions, say they were blindsided late Thursday when they were notified via conference calls or by text messages that the company was ceasing operations and that they would not receive paychecks Friday. Oh man, talk about, connected systems that keep civilizations functioning. If the truckers stop, civilization's gone. So this is a major, major story. Eric Culberson, first president of USLS, confirmed the closure in a LinkedIn post on Saturday, stating that thousands of workers were without jobs after the company's owner, private equity firm 10 Oaks Group, headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, shuttered operations. Quote, due to the abrupt decision by our private ownership group to close our doors at the same time business was surging, I'm completely devastated and heartbroken for the 2,000 plus professionals I've had the pleasure of working with, Culberson wrote. The timing of this closure did not give me the chance to thank my team for their commitment and support to our customers and to each other. So business was booming and this still happened? Man, heartbroken for the people involved with this. Let's read what he says here. Completely devastated and heartbroken for the 2,000 professionals I've had the pleasure of working with. The timing did not give me the chance to thank my team for their commitment and support to our customers and to each other. I'm proud of the team we assembled across the country and the countless hours of dedication to our customers. If there are any employers out there looking for some outstanding talent within the industry, please consider my former teammates at U.S. Logistics Solutions, formerly Forward Air Solutions. These are some of the most dedicated professionals I've had the pleasure of working with in my career, and my heart hurts for them right now. We all deserve better, and I'm confident that everyone will be blessed with another opportunity to showcase the excellence we strived for every day. So this is very sad, highly suspicious, in my opinion. Yeah, Bayou Gator, exactly. I wonder if the private ownership group is somehow connected to BlackRock. Wouldn't surprise me. And thanks again, Zeppelin, for the Rumble rant. Appreciate you. Make sure to, if you guys are out there watching, hit that big, beautiful join button on Rumble and join the party. Anybody that supports us and signs up for monthly contributions to keep the show alive will be entered into our contest. You'll get your name in the hat and you'll have the opportunity to win one of our books. Common Sense, first edition revived, and Common Censored. If you guys are new to the show, thanks for being here. This is Common Censored. I'm Lord Sterling, your host, and we are the censored commoners working together to spread the truth and to outpace the communist overthrow with the Great Awakening to try to stop it in its tracks. Either way, the dollar is going to be obliterated and we're going to have to rebuild, but hopefully at least we'll be in control of the rebuilding. So, sad news about this Texas logistics company. 500 truck drivers gone. Let's jump over to another story. As Bill Maher's audience is left in silence after Andrew Cuomo, former governor of New York, I believe, or mayor of New York City, I think the governor, yeah, admits New York City Trump trial should have never happened. This is a interesting development, to say the least. Former governor of New York from 2011 to 2021, Andrew Cuomo appeared on Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday, where he discussed the implications of the New York City Trump trial with host Maher. Maher's mostly liberal audience is caught quiet when Maher and Cuomo start frankly discussing whether or not the trial was helpful for the Trump campaign. Let's check out this video. We'll go over to X, and we will zoom and enhance. This is just a 54-second clip. What happened to the screen share? Let me bring it back real quick for you guys. What is going on? Okay, I think I got it. Here we go. All right. Let's zoom and enhance. Full screen this for you guys, and let's check it out.
The trial in New York, the one he got convicted for, was the greatest fundraising bonanza ever. He was lagging behind Biden, and now he's pulled
That's right,
quite a bit
dumbasses.
ahead. That
People can
trial
see through the bullshit.
was the greatest reason people had to send their checks for 5, 10, 25, whatever dollars to Donald Trump. So I was always with you on the one in New York, the hush money trial.
It's like these people have never heard of the Streisand effect, never seen Star Wars. When you strike down somebody that's good, they become a martyr, and the support increases. Same thing when you convict people with political persecutions.
I think they should have brought that one. It was just always going to look like a sex case, and people were always just going to look at it that way. So anyway.
That case, the Attorney General's case in New York, frankly, should have never been brought. And if his name was not Donald Trump, and if he wasn't running for president, I'm the former AG in New York, I'm telling you that case would have never been brought.
Right, because it never has been brought before. This is standard operating procedure for real estate businesses. This is what they do. They value their properties in the best possible light to try to get the biggest loans they can for them. Nobody in the situation lost money. The lenders ended up getting new clients and more profits. They would have taken even worse rates because Trump, bringing Trump into their business promised to bring in so many new clients. They were ecstatic with the whole thing. Let's continue.
And that's what is offensive to people. And it should be, because if there's anything left, it's belief.
Oh, look at crying Kinzinger over here, scumbag.
Anything left, it's belief in the justice system.
The trial.
Not anymore, bro. That's over. That whole thing, belief in the justice system, that was a long time ago at this point, man. We all saw Judge, what's his face, railroading Michael Flynn, bringing in his own prosecutors after the prosecutors dropped their case. We just talked about that judge the other day being involved in some other scandal, AIDS scandal or something like that. I can't remember his name at this particular moment. It's like right at the tip of my tongue. But yeah, just a total shit show. Cuomo replied, that case, the Attorney General's case in New York, frankly, should have never been brought. Yeah, welcome to the party. This is obvious stuff. Let's check out this clip here. Bill Maher drops unexpected conspiracy theory, asks how the heck Biden is ahead of Trump in polls when he lost, 14 points among Hispanics, etc. Let's check this one out.
45% of Hispanic voters prefer Biden compared to 39% for Trump. Last time he won, 59%. That was 2020. So he's lost 14 points there. He went to Morehouse. He said, what is democracy if you have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot? That seemed like pandering to me. Black voters under 50. He led by 80 points in 2020, now by 37, still a lot, but he's lost 43 points off the key constituency. Student loans. He's forgiven $144 billion in student loans. Only 36% of student debt holders like it. I mean, if you can't win the people you're pandering to, I mean, I get it. Politics is somewhat about pandering. That's not even an insult. You're supposed to do what people want to a certain degree, also be a leader.
That's what representing them is, doing what they want.
But if you're not winning these groups, and he's lost 8% off women since 2020, and yet I read in the polls, he pulled ahead this week. Explain that to me.
Yeah, it's bullshit, Bill. Just like everything else you think you know, because you just fucking listen to the mainstream moron. Bill Maher is a fucking idiot, man. Let's play the retard alert while he's up on screen over here real quick, because there's no bigger one.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Retard alert, Bill. Yeah, completely insane. Donna, the message did not come through. Try instead commoncensoredshow@gmail.com. And I'll get back to you over there. commoncensoredshow@gmail.com. Sorry for the difficulty. Let's hop over to our next topic, which is meanwhile over in California.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, in California, they reveal all the job gains in 2023 were fake. In the past year, we've discussed on multiple occasions that the U.S. labor market data has been repeatedly doctored to artificially appear better than it really is. They revise the numbers after they are publicized. Every month, the numbers come back down. Philadelphia Fed admits U.S. payrolls overstated by at least 800,000. And here comes the job shock. Philadelphia Fed admits U.S. jobs overstated by at least 1.1 million. Although, thanks to a quirk of BLS data revision reporting, we won't have definitive proof of just how ugly the real job market has been in recent years until sometime in 2025, well into Trump's second administration. However, while the BLS will still be able to maintain the facade of strong job gains lies into early 2025, the dismal reality has already made an appearance in America's largest labor market. According to the latest report published by the nonpartisan California Legislative Analyst's Office, LAO, which is an agency of the California government, it is seen by the Joint Legislative Budget Committee of the California State Legislature and performs and publishes extensive analyses of states' budgets in addition to providing fiscal and policy advice to the California legislature. Contrary to prior reports of over substantial job gains in the Deep Blue State in 2023, the reality was far uglier. In a report titled Newest Early Jobs Revision Shows No Net Job Growth During 2023, we learned just that. The early revisions to state-level data flagged here previously suggests that California actually lost jobs during the fourth quarter of last year. As the report details, based on the most recent release of early benchmarks, payroll jobs declined by 32,000 from September 23 through December 2023. All the numbers are lies. The employment numbers are lies. The FBI crime statistics are lies. This clicks over here.
Clicks.
Apparently. Yeah, you have New York, LA, all these big cities that aren't even sending in their crime statistics anymore. On the contrary, preliminary monthly reports showed a solid increase in job growth at the time, so they're just lying to you. This, according to the LAO, means that, quote, with fourth quarter revision, calendar year 2023 saw essentially no net job growth, plus 9,000 jobs overall, which is nothing. Nothing. The population increased by over 9,000. For those unfamiliar with the sequence of revisions in the jobs data, here's a quick primer for the LAO. Monthly state jobs estimates are revised annually. And I'm not sure about the population growth thing. I just mean in general. More than 9,000 babies were born in California, I'm sure. Each month, our office publishes the most recent state employment figures from the Current Employment Statistics, CES, survey. State employment figures come from this monthly survey, which is based on a small sample of businesses in the state. As a result, once per year, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, does a benchmark revision, updating the monthly CES estimates to match more reliable administrative data from states' unemployment insurance programs. So basically, here's what they claimed. This green line saying, oh, we got so many new jobs. And here's the reality. Basically no new jobs. Giant tank in jobs while they were claiming there was a big jump and then a small jump back to basically less than where it started, followed by another nosedive and a slight increase that puts us just above where they had been. So completely insane. They're just straight up lying to our faces. Let's see what Gator just posted. It says, along the lines of black votes, this is good. Let's check it out, Gator. Mark Lewis over here at MAGA for Liberty posting, who thinks we need a black Proud Boys organization? Yeah, well, the head of the Proud Boys is an Afro-Cuban dude, Enrique Tarrio. He's black, but yeah, it drives me crazy, man, when people say that Proud Boys are like a racist group. It's total opposite of reality, as usual. Let's take a look at this clip, see what's going on over here. Black Lives MAGA. Holy crap, that's an awesome shirt. Black Lives MAGA.
Who are we? Who? We're warriors standing in the gap. Aye. And in unity pushing the system back. Aye. Declaring that California will be the true state of liberty. Aye.
Yeah.
Freedom reigns. Aye. New change brings. Aye. Healing to a people. Aye. It's under one true nation. Aye.
Guy's bicep huge.
Indivisible. Aye. Liberty. Aye. Justice. Aye. For all.
Yeah, dude. He's so amped. Love these guys.
USA! 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 USA!
Fuck yes.
USA! 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 USA!
Ooh, we got a couple other interesting things. We got a new song called Wake the Fuck Up or We're All Gonna Die. Good one. And then I think, was it Wiley just posted Ron Paul in the chat at Ron Paul, former congressman from Texas, the OBGYN doctor who delivered over 2,000 babies. Ron Paul, the man, the champion of the Constitution, saying what everybody should be saying about this whole cluster bomb situation in Crimea that occurred yesterday. Ron Paul posting U.S. supplied cluster bombs were used on beachgoers in Crimea yesterday, killing at least 6 and injuring more than 100. Moscow has warned that, quote, such actions will not go unanswered. Is this a NATO attempt to provoke a Russian reaction to justify further involvement? Next moves? Let's check out some of Ron Paul's Liberty Report. And then we'll wrap up the broadcast shortly after this. We're just hitting 3 hours right now. Thank you guys so much for being here and spending your evening with us at Censored. If you're new to the show, this is what it's like to be in our chat. It's like pull up a chair, join us in the mental institution, right out of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Thanks, Gator, for making this great meme. Let's check out what Dr. Paul has to say.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Liberty Report. With us today, we have Daniel McAdams, our co-host. Daniel, good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Dr. Paul. How are you?
Ready and raring to go.
Let's do it. Yes.
So there was somebody who wasn't sleeping on Sunday and resting on Sunday. Our military was in operation. And I said, what do you mean our military was in operation? Well, they were participating in a war exercise. They were practicing. No, they weren't practicing. They were killing people.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they didn't do it. They just told them where to shoot the missiles and where to get the missiles. I think they got them from the United States. They got them from the United States. And we're talking about the Ukrainians and our friends in Ukraine who criticize us because we don't give them enough stuff fast enough, and they're still after more money. And there was something written the other day about at a certain point, when the establishment is satisfied with the status quo over there, he's gone. Zelensky's gone. Yeah. But anyway, he shouldn't have even arrived under these circumstances, but he wouldn't have.
We've been predicting for a long time they're going to pink mist Zelensky as soon as he's not useful anymore.
It had not been our policy. And some people would say we are at war. You know, we're building a lot of weapons. We have a lot of,
just a proxy war
and participants and allies. A lot of bombs are being dropped. A lot of people have died. And I believe, this is a personal belief, that none of this would have happened if we did not have an American foreign policy that was very, very encouraging to this situation. Things would be completely different, and that is why, of course, we exist, is try to point out the foolishness of an interventionist foreign policy, one designed to ignore the Constitution, and one to be designed and pressured by the military-industrial complex, ends up in trouble, and a lot of people died. And Americans, there's been some deaths, but it isn't like Vietnam, where body bags were coming home, but it's still just as immoral and just as costly and just as antagonizing, and may last a long time.
Yep. And if anybody ever wants my opinion on something, but I haven't talked about it, if Ron Paul's talked about it, odds are it's going to be my opinion. So check out Ron Paul if you can't find my opinion on something.
So over the weekend, they were looking for some excitement. So we participated with the Ukrainians in sending some missiles into Crimea.
It's pure evil!
And if the story is true, that this was directed with our intelligence agencies, at the same time, they knew exactly where they were heading, to a beach with people innocently being on the beach. No, there was not a horrendous number of people being killed, but there were some, and children were injured. It was still devastating, but it's the principle of the thing. It was the Ukrainians and the Americans attacked on Russia. And that's the part that people won't say. Why did we attack Russia? And they say, well, Russia invaded Ukraine.
It's so ridiculous. Cheddar Steve Bongino had a good point yesterday. If Putin knew the P dossier was fake, why didn't he say anything? Could he be in cahoots with Dems all along? Could be. Maybe. Yeah. Well, he thought that. The thing is with that, Trump was putting sanctions on Russia and stuff at the time to try to combat the whole narrative. I don't think anybody would have believed Putin, and so Putin may have been looking at it like, well, Trump's hurting us a lot right now. Maybe it'll be actually better if we just go along with Biden. I don't know. It's a valid question. Speaking of Bongino, I'm thinking about going live tomorrow at 11 a.m. for an hour to early as fuck to raid Dan Bongino. He's been raiding his own broadcast in recent days, clearly signaling that he wants somebody to raid his broadcast. So I think tomorrow we're going to raid Dan Bongino, and I'm going to try to get up early and do an 11 a.m. special broadcast for an hour to raid Bongino and try to get a little traction over there. Maybe if we raid him, he'll mention us or something like that. Could be worth a shot. Thanks to Rich and Mama Mac for pointing it out that he's been raiding himself. Cheddar Steve, raid is it's a function on Rumble where I go in and type 11 a.m. Eastern. That's right, Omega. I type in raid / and then give a link in the comments to a live broadcast on Rumble. And basically a raid, we've done it a few times. It pops up a link, an option in the chat for everybody that's watching this show to go and raid whatever show we're going to raid. It's a way that communities can kind of like work together, and I can send my audience over to Bongino, vice versa. We raided Salty Cracker. We were the first people that raided him, and I think he probably shut down the raid option since then because I don't think they were too happy about it. But we've raided Pirate Radio a couple times on Fridays. I'm thinking tomorrow we'll try to raid Bongino during his show, and since he seems like he's trying to get people to raid him, maybe he'll mention us and send some viewers our way. It's possible. Will be worth a shot. Like an hour before noon. Yeah, Omega Directive. I may just take more InfoWars foundational energy and just stay up all night. Now I'm going to try to go to bed early. So we'll try raiding Bongino tomorrow, see if he notices, and see what's going on. Let's continue here with Ron Paul for a few minutes, and then we will wrap up the broadcast for the evening. Thanks, Cheddar. Yeah, show up. It'll be fun to raid. We'll have everybody let him know that Common Censored sent us over there. Yeah, who had Sterling getting up early on their bingo card? LOL. Seriously, Mama Mac. Well, maybe I'll just stay up super late, and then it won't technically count as getting up early. We will see. Yeah, going to need some massive energons. That's right. Let's continue with Dr. Paul.
We're trying to restrain them. And they'll go back to all this lying.
Yeah.
So that is happening. It's big in the news, and there's one question, and that is, what's Russia going to do about this? Are they going to twiddle their thumbs and walk away? They might for a day or two ponder it, but there will be something that they're going to do. And who knows, it might be financial and teach Americans that you can't put sanctions and run the world. But expect Russia not to play patsy with this and just put up with it.
Yeah, I mean, here's Mike Johnson. He's the one who made it happen. He's the one who made this $61 billion happen, which bought these 5 ATACMS long-range missiles that were shot into the, one of them at least shot into the beach on Crimea. This is Republican leadership. This is the supposed opposition who facilitated the transfer of these weapons against, certainly the better judgment of cooler heads. So 5 ATACMS were fired. We can put up that first clip even. And they were armed, Dr. Paul, with cluster munitions. These were not warheads. These were not unitary warheads. They were cluster munitions. Cluster bombs are designed to kill personnel. Should be military personnel. They're banned by 100 countries because they end up getting lodged into the ground and other places. They're unexploded. Kids pick them up years later and get blown to pieces. Horrible, horrible munitions. We don't have the capacity to show the video today because of our internet problems we're having, but you can hear very clearly when the bomb hits the cluster munitions going off. So here's what happens. Now, it's not just any Sunday, but it's Trinity Sunday for those in the Eastern Orthodox Church. The majority of Crimea would be that. Celebrating Trinity Sunday, going to the beach on Trinity Sunday. They get there and they're blown up. You have at least 5 killed, I think several in critical condition, 124 injured, including 27 children. 2 of those killed were children. Some of the injuries, they say, are severe, which you can imagine with the cluster bomb and all that shrapnel going around everywhere. So anyway, children are among the mass casualties after U.S.-supplied missile targets crowded Crimean beach. Now, the reaction, as you point out, Dr. Paul, from Moscow is they're not very happy at all. If you go to the next one, Moscow is calling it a terrorist missile strike on Sevastopol. A separate Russian Ministry of Defense statement directly accused Washington, quote unquote, flight missions for ATACMS missiles are programmed by American specialists based on U.S. satellite reconnaissance, making Washington primarily responsible for the deliberate missile strike on Sevastopol's citizens, the Russian Ministry of Defense said. So they
Boom. So it was us. Fucking hell, man. All right, we're going to wrap up the broadcast right here, but let's do a raid. While we're talking about raids, let's go raid Jeremy over at D-Day Cobra. And let him know that Common Censored sent you guys. Let's see if I can start a raid over here on my end. Did that work? Maybe I did it wrong. Let's try again. Boom, there we go. Confirm raid. All right, so you guys can see on my end. Confirm raid. D-Day Cobra. Debate Week. Dr. Disrespect Drama. Julian Assange. Free. We're going to stop the broadcast here, but I'm going to send you guys over to raid D-Day Cobra, who's live right now. Whoops, wrong one. Over here. Let Jeremy know that Common Censored sent you guys. Here, I'm going to confirm the raid. Boom. Raid starting in, okay, it looks like the raid is active. So feel free to exit our broadcast and jump on over to D-Day Cobra. Let them know that Common Censored sent you guys. We'll wrap it up right here. Thank you guys for joining us again this evening. This has been episode 181, breaking down all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos that's going on in the country and worldwide right now. Russia blaming U.S. for the civilian bombings, threatening retaliation. Paul Ryan having sabotaged the RUSSIAGATE probe. Thank you guys for joining the raid. I can see some of you guys commenting over there. Appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow. Join us weekdays, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Time. I'm going to try to do the 11 a.m. raid tomorrow of Bongino. So we'll give it a shot. And thanks again for supporting the broadcast. If you want to support us, head on over to our link tree, hit that big, beautiful join button beneath the show. All the links to the content we discussed will be in the description shortly as soon as I get the chance to copy and paste it over there and make any last-minute edits that we need. Make sure to share the broadcast on X using hashtag CommonCensored. And you can follow us over on X at _CommonCensored as well. Thanks again to all of our new Rumblers over here that followed us over the weekend. I didn't get to it today, but I'll list you guys off tomorrow and thank you all individually. Appreciate you guys. Make sure to support alplama.com as well, your new herbal health guru. And sounds good. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Hit that raid button and go hang out with Jeremy. Have a good time. He's more of an entertainment channel, but covering MAGA style commentary on entertainment stuff. So we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. And smash that like button. Catch you guys on the flip side.